A fair good evening to you one and all, listeners in Butler County and throughout the world, wherever you have internet connection. This is Joel Sackenheim and Dr. Dan Vogt here live from the Hornets' Nest in Monroe for Week 2 of high school football. The Monroe Hornets will host the rival Ross Rams. Dan, good to be with you for our first game together this year, man.
Good to be with you. The years seem to roll on by, but football, it's always fun. I always look forward to it, and I'm looking forward to this game tonight, especially me being older, being a running type of guy. We're going to see a lot of running here tonight, Joel.
Well, we're going to see an actual whole slew of running tonight. We're going to try to get you guys all out of here by 9 p.m. Steve Vaughn promised to keep supper warm for me at WMOH tonight. The Monroe Hornets threw the ball only 4 times last week in their game, and the Ross Rams did not attempt to pass at all.
That goes to show you the testimony of the offensive line of both these squads. And when we talked to the coaches before the game, both of them said the same thing. We are strong up front on the line.
And both teams won by 3 scores. So the Monroe Hornets, they got the number 2 seed last year coming out of nowhere. We called them in their game against Ross during Week 2 at Robinson Field last year, where they put up a very respectable fight. Loss, what was the score? 21-14, I believe it was.
That is correct. Yes, that was the rain game.
They ended up going 8-2 on the season.
Yes.
And now they're 1-0. They beat Talawanda 35-16. They were the number 2 seed last year, and all of a sudden, we got a lot of tailgaters here at Monroe. They're pretty excited about their football team, Dan.
As well they should be. I'll tell you, this is going to be a fun game tonight. I'm looking forward to this.
Bob Mullins, the head coach of the Hornets, thinks that the Monroe Hornets are better than they were last year when they went 8-2. He thinks the offensive line is not quite as big, but he does think that they are more athletic, and he thinks that they are upper class dominated.
Can't argue with that.
Key guys to listen for, I'd say to watch for, but you're only listening tonight. Couple underclassmen, KJ Brown, number 3, Braden Reese, number 4, are going to make some debuts a little bit tonight, but the key guys for the Monroe Hornets, number 44, Wyatt McPherson on defense. He was second-team All-State linebacker. And the running back, number 15, Elijah Jackson. We've been calling his name for a while now. He's finally a senior. It seems like he's been playing for Monroe for forever.
He is a beast, 5'10", 200 pounds, and I'm looking at the weight roster, and he is actually one of the biggest players on their team.
Elijah Jackson, second-team All-State as a running back. The quarterback will be Ryan Miles. And Dan, Bob Mullins said that they run a communist offense.
He said he feels he wants to give everyone their fair share.
They spread the ball around in
yes,
the Monroe
they do.
Hornets. It's a running offense, but yeah, they want to be balanced. Balanced with the quarterback run, with the fullback run, and with the running back run.
So if we see a pass tonight, we might see a fumbled snap by the punter, and he might scramble outside and try and wing one down the field.
It'll be something like that. The Ross Rams are 1-0. They've had a brutal go of things, but they are, as Coach Kenyon Cummins says, a resilient bunch. They beat Wilmington, the Hurricane, just one Hurricane. Just like Monroe beat just one Brave up in Talawanda.
They rocked them like a hurricane.
They rocked them like a hurricane, 27-7.
Got to throw some scorpions in there,
yes.
Right, Dave? There you go.
Ross, well, they were at around 80 to 85 on their roster last year at games. They've got about between 56 and 62 here tonight.
And on my roster, I counted 48 on my roster.
Yeah, it looks like a much more sparse Ross sideline than you're used to seeing.
And why would that be, Joel?
Well, this would be because of the tax levy failing.
Oh.
That happened just recently in a recent election, and so Ross has had to go to a pay-to-play model. All of the Ross Rams parents had to pay $825 apiece to play football to offset all the costs of, well, everything that comes along with playing football.
Yes.
That has really depleted their roster. And they also lost Aiden Brown transferring into Baden, so he stays a Ram, but he changes colors from maroon to green. That's going to be hurtful. And so, yeah, Ross is coming in. Coach Commons expects them to be strong. He certainly expects them to be resilient. But this is not going to be easy for the Ross Rams this season, and they get bumped up to Division II on top of it.
Gosh.
Commons did say in the pregame, he's like, yeah, if we could have chosen, we would have stayed in Division III if we had our choice. They were 11 boys over in terms of the male enrollment.
Wow.
Based on 11 boys, they
11
get
boys
up to Division II region.
They could have had a little flu bug and let 12 of them get sick. There you go.
There it is.
Looks like we're lining up for the kickoff here, Joel.
Sully Spencer puts the ball on the tee. Dan, you were saying Sully Spencer has some range.
Yes, from what we know, the coach said he is good anywhere from 50 and in on his field goals. So we might see some long field goals. Here we go with the kickoff.
Long kickoff goes toward the goal line, fielded 1 yard into the end zone, which according to high school rules and regulations makes that a touchback. It was fielded by Landon Wynn, number 23, but unable to advance it because the whistle's going to be blown once the ball crosses the goal line in the air in high school football. So no time goes off the clock. The Monroe Hornets will begin traveling toward the north end zone as we sit here in the press box.
Or right to left on your radio dial.
Right to left on your internet radio dial.
If there is a dial on your internet.
It's toward the volume down button.
All righty.
Ryan Miles, flexbone formation. He's got 2 wide backs, 1 to each side of him. And then he's got the fullback right behind the powerful and potent Elijah Jackson. Man goes in motion, that's E.J. John. The handoff to Jackson up the middle, and he's going to gain about 3 yards.
Basically just a dive play, good old-fashioned dive play over the right guard.
Fullback dive, and we are going to see a heck of a lot of that.
Yes, we are.
Tonight.
It's going to be macho football, man on the line. Looks like he got about 3, Joel. It's going to be 2nd and 7.
2nd down and 7 for the Monroe Hornets at their own 23-yard line. 23 and a half. It's a long 3. Miles looks over at the sideline, and now they go ahead and set up the offensive line. Big formation, only 1 wide receiver, and this is a fake dive. Miles keeps it.
Boy, Ross smelled that.
He is wrapped up in the backfield. That's Riley Caldwell, number 15 for the Ross Rams, that snuffed him out playing assignment football.
Riley Caldwell, we called his name a lot last year.
And a man down.
Oh, no.
It's going to be looked at. That is Derek Rack of the Rams holding his shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, he's kind of bent over.
And so both teams will huddle up now and try to regroup as they tend to the injured player.
Basically no play on that last run, so it's going to set up a 3rd and 7. Will we see the passing right on the first drive here? This is the question. The early Vegas odds say no.
Dan Vogt looks for a running play. It's going to be 3rd down and 6. He might have gotten a yard on that last run if you were less generous in the first down carry in terms of spotting.
They're spread 4 wide.
Shotgun. Miles is looking to throw. He rolls out to the right. He's running out of time. Fakes it, hits a wall of Rams, and Kyle driven backwards. Bryson Baston, the MVP of Ross's defense, comes up big, and he makes a big Hulk-like appearance as he gets up from the ground.
Yes. I asked their coach, I said, give me one guy on defense to look for, and that is the guy they said.
That's the guy.
He is the alpha male is what he called him. He said the leader of the defense. He had 101 tackles last year.
So 4th down after a 3 and out. It's 4th and 12, and Monroe is going to punt from inside their own 20. Punter is number 44, Wyatt McPherson.
Wonderful kick.
Very deep, and the receiver was able to catch it, just keeping his knee off the ground, and stumble forward for about 2 or 3 yards, trying to look for who's getting up with the ball there on the play. People turn to us. That would help us see who exactly it is. That looks like that was Riley Caldwell, number 15, and he is going to stay out there and play offense for the Rams.
That was a 42-yard kick and about a 5-yard return on that, so nice punt there to get him out of that bad field position.
Well done for Monroe, although Ross is still going to have good field position starting this drive at their own 45-yard line.
That's right.
And 2 wide receivers, but essentially the same formation we're looking at here that Monroe is running.
Mirror image of it.
Man in motion, toss sweep to the right. Looking to bounce it around is Braden Baston. Braden Baston finally wrapped up.
He only got a yard there. Nice play by...
Correction, that was Jay Warren, number 4, not number 7. My apologies to Warren on the play. Warren was the wide back, motioning beforehand from left to right. He caught the toss sweep, only gets a yard on the play.
Yeah, that 4 looks like a 7. I agree with you. It's hard to read their numbers. They're yellow on a white shirt.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Villa Angela St. Joseph did something similar to us last week. Fake handoff.
Oh.
Going to keep it. That's Caldwell. The quarterback runs up the middle, following his fullback as a lead blocker. He does manage to salvage about 3 yards out of it, so that is something.
Yeah, it is. That was a Logan Dooley on the tackle there, the senior linebacker.
And so it's going to be 3rd down and 6 now for the Ross Rams, as neither offense has really been able to generate a whole lot in the first drive.
They do have a slot left here. They have 2 players on the outside, but it definitely looks more like a running formation
Traditional
here.
I formation here.
Oh.
And this is going to be a quarterback scramble for Caldwell. He runs out of room to the near sideline, going around the right side of the line, across midfield, but runs out of bounds. Go ahead, Dan.
He got the first down. Wait a minute. Now they're saying 4th down.
No, they need to get to the other 45.
Okay.
Broken through the 50.
I gotcha.
So
Thank
he's
you.
going to be 5 yards short there. And so the ball will be spotted right at midfield. And now the Ross Rams will punt as each team trades punts.
The only reason the clock has stopped is he was out of bounds, or else this quarter might be half over already.
8:43 remaining in the first quarter here at the Hornets' Nest. Each team has traded punts, although Ross does have the field position advantage. We'll see how the punting game looks for the Rams. Here's the snap. And a shank off the side of his foot. It's going to take a nice friendly Ross hop.
Oh, a great roll. Look at this.
Keep rolling all the way inside. The ball is spotted. Referee drops the beanbag at the 1 yard line. It looked like a whole bunch of Ross Rams fell into the end zone with the ball. But the back judge has spotted it at the 1 yard line, Dan.
Joel, we have a coach next door who's screaming and yelling because in the NFL, if you grab the ball and stop the momentum of the ball before you go in the end zone, then that's the only way the ball can be placed at the 1. This person stopped and rolled into the end zone, but he first touched the ball at the 1. So I guess, Joel, you know in the rules of high school better than I do. Is that where you place the ball, where the ball's touched?
Apparently it must have been downed at the 1 yard line.
Even though his momentum carried him into the end zone.
Full control, knee on the ground, apparently. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 1.
Wow.
For the Monroe Hornets.
What a great shank punt that was.
A shank punt with a beautiful roll.
The punter said, I meant that all day.
That's 49 yards for
wow.
the Rams. 1st and 10 now for Monroe. Watch for Elijah Jackson, and there is the fullback dive. Off tackle toward the left, and Elijah Jackson stumbles ahead for about 7 yards.
Very Mike Allstott-like there, just kind of rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling there.
A plodding run. Very much a plodding run.
And it was a very effective plodding run.
So 2nd down, and it looks like 3 for the Monroe Hornets. They've gotten a little bit of field position carved out as they are now at the 8 yard line. 2nd and 3. Trips double wide receivers to the right side of the formation. This is going to be a
it was like an inside reverse.
Inside reverse handoff to E.J. John. And E.J. John
did not get the first down.
Basically get maybe a yard at most. Ross's defense. Johnny on the spot for the play. And it's going to set up Monroe with a 3rd down.
Was Johnny originally, was there a famous player named Johnny and he just happened to be on the spot a few times?
That's a great question.
I'd love to know where that came from.
What spot was Johnny on? I know Jimmy, his brother, cracked corn, but I didn't care. So
3rd and 2.
Handoff to Elijah Jackson.
Nice blocking up front.
Up the middle. I tell you, that was a good handoff. Ryan Miles, the quarterback, was driven to the turf afterwards by a Ross defender.
Yes, he was.
Thought the quarterback still had the ball. Triple option, never quite sure, but Elijah Jackson is going to pound forward and carve out enough room for the 1st down.
That's why you don't see the triple option in the pro league, because that quarterback probably would be on the sidelines right now with that hit.
Yeah, you can't afford to take hits like that in the NFL.
I don't think Tom Brady would have got up from that.
Man goes in motion is John. Handoff to Jackson. Up the middle. Ross helmet goes flying.
Wow.
Into the pile.
Remember John Madden back in the day when the helmet went flying? He'd always say, make sure there's not a head in it. I loved Madden. Gosh. Oh. God rest his soul.
Absolutely truthful. Make sure there's not a head in it. 2nd down and 3.
All right.
For the Monroe Hornets. trying to get some momentum going here against this Ross defense. They started this drive on their own 1-yard line. Handoff again to Jackson up the middle.
He was hammered.
He's going to get about half the yardage they needed and set up 3rd and 2. You see anybody on Ross's defensive line making big stops?
Well, that was Bryson Baston again, the linebacker. I'm just going to watch the linebacker because he seems to be right where the action is, and that's what the coach told us before the game. Big 3rd down here for both teams. Just for the sake that I would love to see a 99-yard drive by Monroe with nothing but run plays. that I've never seen in my life, except the Tony Dorsett 99-yard run.
Oh, yeah, that was a 99-yard drive with
the
nothing
Dallas
but run
Cowboys.
plays. That's true.
Yes, and that was nothing but runs. But other than that.
3rd down, a little bit less than 2. It's a short 2.
Yes, it is.
For the Hornets, they are at their own 25-yard line, need to get to the 27. Man goes in motion. That was Landon Wynn. Now they reset the formation. Wynn goes in motion again, changes direction. Jackson up the middle, and he is going to have just enough for the Monroe 1st down.
Just enough. Another dive play up the middle. This is just classic old-school football here. It really is. This reminds me of the CYO days back in the day, down at Joyce Park.
1st and 10 for the Monroe Hornets at their own 29-yard line. 5:20 remaining in the 1st quarter
It's
of play.
It's been a 3-minute drive, and they've got 20 yards. It's awesome.
It looks like me playing Madden is what it looks like. Man goes in motion. That's Jean. They pitch it out wide to Jean. Now he cuts it upfield.
Nice.
This will be a healthy gain.
Very healthy.
Not quite enough for a 1st down, but it's going to chop a lot of meat off that bone. It's going to be 2nd down and 2. That was the old toss sweep there, Dan.
Yes, it was.
Vince Lombardi, run to daylight.
That's right.
You get a seam here and a seam there, and you have the alley, and you put them right
and you
up
run
there.
it down the alley.
Down the alley. Now we've got referees talking a little bit, and we have a holding penalty on Monroe. So negate that run for Jean.
See, they're destined to get 2 or 3 yards. You can't get 8 yards without a problem here on the running play. Okay?
It's just not the Monroe way.
This is going to make it a 1st and 20 now. Goodness. Let's see if they run off tackle here on 1st and 20.
1st down and 20 for the Monroe Hornets. Not a lot in their playbook for this, but even less for 3rd and 20. So you're going to try to get some yardage on the ground probably. And I cannot tell if Miles actually handed that ball to Jackson or not. The two of them got hung up at the mesh point in the backfield.
I think both of them literally had the ball and both got knocked down. So I give both of them a half-yard carry there. The first simultaneous run I've ever seen.
Ross's defense basically met the two of them at the mesh point in the backfield and dropped them both simultaneously. Which one of them exactly had the ball is unbeknownst to us, but is of little importance to anybody other than
I like
Rick Asano
unbeknownst.
here.
When you can sneak an unbeknownst in there, Joel, you're doing a good job.
Shotgun formation. Fake
Nice.
to Jackson. This
There
is
he
Miles
goes.
running up the middle.
Oh, he's got some speed.
Trying to get a little bit of a block. He goes toward the outside,
Nice.
and an extra push by Jack Hansel at the end of the play.
Oh.
That was a 2nd down and 19.
Little late hit on the quarterback there, and he was 4 yards short of the 1st down. When you tack on the personal foul, obviously it's going to give him a 1st down way up near what, Joel? About
Near
45?
midfield, pretty close to it, yeah.
Goodness sakes.
That run got out past the 35-yard line. It was still going to be 3rd down and short. A beautiful run there for Miles out of the shotgun formation, a little read option or zone read. Ends up getting tackled out of bounds at the 35, and then Hansel put the little extra hit after him afterwards. Monroe will cross midfield for the first time today, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hornets at the Ross 49-yard line, and we have the first timeout of the game taken by the Monroe Hornets.
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
what are you seeing from Monroe so far?
I'm seeing a lot of Miles and a lot of Elijah Jackson. And looking at last week's statistics, Elijah Jackson, 169 yards rushing last week and a touchdown. Ryan Miles, 41 yards rushing last week, 3 touchdowns. So they basically were the offense last week. So we're seeing it again. So that's what high school football is all about. You give the ball to your best playmakers and you let them do their thing.
Miles was 2 for 4 last week through the air.
Yes.
But
he
did have a touchdown pass.
Yes, he did.
And Coach Mullins was eager to remind us, hey, that's pretty darn efficient.
Yes, it is for 45 yards. So that's 22 and a half yards a pop.
That's pretty good.
That's very good.
Throwing the ball over the top, not exactly something you would expect from Monroe, so they do it deceptively as something to cross up the defense. Also, the Monroe Hornets will be playing tonight's game with a backup kicker.
Yes.
The starting kicker.
As Neil would say, the freshman.
The freshman, yes.
Yes.
The starting kicker was hurt on a roughing the kicker call last week. His name is Buckner. The funny thing was, we asked Coach Mullins, who's your starting kicker? And he stopped and he looked at us and said,
I just call him kicker.
I just call him kicker, yeah.
And then he thought, and he did give him a name.
Hey, Buckner eventually came up with a name, but who knows if that was actually his name or not. Just, kicker. So Bryce Reynolds, a freshman soccer player, will be handling the kicking duties for Monroe tonight. We're back from the timeout, and under center, this is a different quarterback now. This is Carson Markham.
Wow.
Handing the ball off in the I formation up the middle.
I'm going to look over here on the bench and see if there's any sign of Ryan here, Miles, and see if he's okay.
Now Miles is back in the game.
Okay.
That was a handoff to Landon Wynn,
okay,
running back. They gave Elijah Jackson a little breather on that play as well.
Okay.
2nd down and 7 now for the Monroe Hornets. Ball is at the Ross 46-yard line as Monroe tries to continue to churn the clock on this massive drive.
Oh, here we
Miles
go.
looks to throw, doesn't have it.
Oh.
Tries to go up in the pocket, and here is that man again, Bryson Baston, the linebacker.
Good.
Closed up the hole.
Excellent play there. Ryan Miles did take the sack, but you got to give Ross credit there. Monroe had 2 wide receivers downfield, but there was 3 men covering those 2 wide receivers, and the wide receivers were within 2 yards of each other. I don't know if they meant that to happen, but it drew the defense right to the 2 guys. So he didn't want to throw the ball with the 3-2 odds against him, so he took the sack.
Can't say as I blame him.
No.
3rd down and 12. Now, that will statistically go down as a running play
in
high school football. 3 wide receivers to the left side of the formation as Miles fakes the throw, and he goes ahead and hands it off to Jackson. Backside.
Whoa!
Jackson's going to punch it out. Longest running game of the day, and it's going to be enough for a 1st down on the draw counter. Dan.
Yes, remind me of an old Washington counter tray, they used to call that, where the quarterback rolled to the left, and then the running back caught the ball, or not caught the ball, but received the handoff and ran to the right out of the shotgun. Very interesting play call, and it certainly fooled the Ross Rams.
Ross had no idea that was coming.
No, he ran 10 yards before I think Ross realized he had the ball.
It was a fake rollout toward the left where all 3 receivers were, and then a handoff back, cutting against the grain, and seal him off the right tackle. 1st and 10 now for Monroe.
Great
fake
play
handoff
call.
to Jackson. No, it is a handoff to Jackson, and he tucks it up the middle.
Wow.
Inside the 10-yard line, and he's starting to gain some steam, Dan.
Oh, he is. Beautiful block there by the left guard. That would be Jackson Hunchel. I got to give names to the offensive linemen here on this drive. Was this the one that was 99 yards?
They started at their own 1-yard line.
That's right. We're getting close.
Here we go.
We're inside the 10. 1st and goal.
Handoff again to Jackson up the middle.
They
Ross
got him
is
that
ready
time.
for it this time. It's only going to be a gain of about a yard as Baston once again gets up from the pile last. He is, how many tackles did you say he had last season?
He had 110.
110 tackles last year. It's an average of 11 tackles per game if you're dealing with regular season stats only.
That's Chris Spielman numbers, to throw out an old name.
Oh, wow.
Chris Spielman.
Talking about old names.
The only high school player to ever be on a Wheaties box. He played for Massillon, Ohio.
Massillon, Washington, or Massillon, Jackson?
Massillon in Ohio.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if they
two
had
high
two
schools now.
Well, it was the public high school. Is there different?
Massillon, Washington, Massillon, Jackson.
They might have just been Massillon back then.
Okay. Handoff up the middle again to Jackson on 2nd down, and the field is shrinking a little bit.
And to give you a little thing about Chris Spielman, he later went to Ohio State, one of the best linebackers Ohio State ever had. Then he went and played for the Detroit Lions.
So, Dan, you followed his career for a long time.
Loved Chris Spielman. Loved him. And then He left the Lions, and his wife got cancer, and he had a bad thing with that. She died, and he's a spokesman for cancer research now. Great guy, and he's an executive assistant to the GM for the Detroit Lions. Here we go.
Hand off to Jackson on third down and goal from the 6. He gets to the 1-yard line.
Oh, come on. You got to go for it here, Coach.
Well, he's going to have time to think about it, Will Mullins, because we have reached the end of the first quarter.
Great quarter.
This drive has lasted over 8.5 minutes long. It has gone 98 yards
yes,
in
it
length.
has.
But thus far, no points, and the Monroe Hornets are going to take this back. What is the old saying? Get right back where we started from?
Yes.
They're going to, was that Maxine Nightingale?
Maxine Nightingale.
The Monroe Hornets are going to walk 98 yards all the way back where this drive started, and they're going to finish it. Morgan, if you're listening, was it Harry Potter saying to Tom Riddle, let's end this thing where we began it, Tom?
I'll tell you what. Let's see what happens here. We got to, you know, I got to have as much as I like defensive standoffs on 4th and 1s, a 99-yard drive with nothing but running plays sounds pretty awesome.
They've not thrown the ball yet.
They tried a couple times, but he ended up scrambling
They ended
out
up
of it,
scrambling,
running
sacking, ended up being statistically running plays. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, Ross, your defense is going to have a chance here as we get ready to start the second quarter to make a play and get out of Dodge without any points given.
My isolation camera, my two eyes, they're going to be on Baston, the linebacker, Bryson Baston, because linebackers are always where the action is on a 4th and 1. So I'm going to watch him, Joel. You can watch the play. We'll see what he does.
The ball is just inside the 1-yard line. The teams have changed directions. Monroe is now facing the south end zone, the one toward Ohio Route 63.
Yes.
The sunny side of the field.
Ross has 9 guys up front on the line. Here we go.
This is going to be a handoff to Jackson.
He
got
got it
into the middle and waltzes into the end zone for a 1-yard touchdown run. 99-yard drive for the Monroe Hornets.
I thought that was kind of interesting. It was almost like a quick snap. They came up and they snapped the ball kind of quick instead of barking out a play, trying to drum off sides. Well, what do you get there, half a yard on offsides?
Yeah.
99-yard drive. That's the second one I've ever seen now.
So now the kicker coming out. This should be Bryce Reynolds kicking it for the Monroe Hornets. The freshman soccer player kicks it up.
Nice.
And as Al Michaels would say,
good.
It is good.
Good.
The Monroe Hornets have a 7-0 lead after their second possession of the game, and Ross is now going to have to regroup.
How do you like this commercial-free broadcast? Isn't this nice?
Commercial-free, everybody. Can't complain, right?
No, we can't.
Oh, my goodness. We got an Ethernet cable here in the broadcast booth. The good thing about that's hardwired in. Wonderful. The bad news is it's blocking my Twitter feed right now.
It's secreting ether and making you sleepy.
It's true. It's true. So we're able to broadcast you. We're able to stream. That is wonderful. But I feel like I'm kind of going into this with one boot off. Because I don't have any scores.
No,
I can't see my Twitter feed at all. I can't tell you what's going on in any other games in high school football now.
We need to search for an internet somewhere. I'm gonna search. How did we live before internet? That is the question.
All my eyes just have to be right here at the stadium, Dan. I can only see what's going on in front of me.
Well, we had a 99-yard running drive. That's old school. No internet. That's old school. and I myself am old school.
That's true.
That is the theme today.
And I have a flip phone, which is also very old school.
That's ridiculous.
And the Ross Rams are paying to play. So that's old school. Squib kick up ahead, fielded by one of the up men for Ross with shiny Goldie locks.
Wow, look at that.
That is it all the way across the midfield line.
That looked like Australian rules football. I mean, they were all just crowded together.
Absolutely major run there. I want to give credit where it's due, and it looks like the up man there on the play was, I want to say that was Noah Nichols, number 45, sprinting off the field.
Wow.
The Ross Rams are going to have fantastic field position already across midfield. They will start this drive at the Monroe 45-yard line.
So no 99-yard drive coming up on this play, folks.
I formation for the Ross Rams. The
Great.
quarterback is Caldwell. And Caldwell is going to hand this to the tailback. Gets a little momentum, but is met in the backfield.
Beautiful.
That is John Rasnick driving the running back down. The running back on the play was Emery Severance.
That's a great
Severance,
name.
number 3 for the Rams. And Severance is going to get only a half a yard at most.
We heard a screaming yes by the coaches in the next, but obviously a Monroe coach.
Yeah, we are sitting in the Monroe coaching staff, and they were very, very pleased with the ability to stop the run on that play. Now Ross goes into the more triple option traditional flex bone, sending Warren motion, and it is the H-back sweep going from left to right around the right tight end. And Warren is going to carve out a little bit of room, only getting about 4 yards on the play. It's going to set up a third down and manageable, at least, for the
Third and
Rams.
6. Yeah, I think if you're Ross, you got to look at it like, let's get 3 on this play and 3 on 4th down. Because I don't see him punting from the 37-yard line.
Well, they're getting close to Sully Spencer's
They
field goal
are
range.
getting close. That would be a 54-yard field goal, which
This would be
they said
57 from here?
well,
40-yard line?
Yeah, 57 from here, assuming they don't gain anything on this run. I'm assuming it's going to be a run.
I formation.
It is a run.
It is a fullback. No, quarterback keeps it, then
Oh!
pitches it at the last minute to Severance. Severance does a juke, ducks upfield, only gets about 2 yards, got about half of it. Coach
Yes.
Commons could decide to go for this 4th down. It would not be a fool's errand by any stretch at 4th and 2.
From right there, Joel, we're looking at a 54-yard field goal, but I don't see the kicker, Sully Spencer, coming out.
You
So-
were telling me that Sully had kicked a 50-yard field goal. We talked to Coach Commons on the field, and we asked him, yeah, your kicker we hear is really good. And he kind of looked at us in a very sly way and said, yeah, he's above average. 4th and 2 for the Ross Rams.
Here we go.
Warren goes back to the backfield, lines up as the tailback behind the fullback. Handoff goes to Warren. Met in the backfield, falls forward. We're going to see where the spot is. The referees are going to mark this very close.
He looks like he's short. At least Monroe's screaming that.
Yeah, Monroe's coaching staff next to us is screaming as if people can hear it that it's short. They want the ball badly.
Well,
this might be a measurement situation, Dan. And the referees are going to call for that measurement.
It's really quite simple. They're standing next to the ball. The ball has to get to the 35. The ball's point looks short of the – I'd say it's going to be 3 inches short.
Very, very close here. You wonder about measuring when the yard to gain is exactly the line. I mean, you got the line there for a point of reference already, don't you?
Who's the referee that brought out the credit card and slid it?
Oh, Gene Steratore.
Yeah, this might be a Steratore credit card
Here
moment.
we go. And so the referees now have the chains out here. Monroe is standing close to the ball, hoping to celebrate, wanting to celebrate. They're stretching the chains out. They're still stretching the chains out. It's so close.
Wait, there's a tangle in the chain.
They're looking, trying to untangle the chain. They're looking, bending down. This is absolutely the credit card moment you're talking about.
They're literally staring,
They
figuring
still
it
have
out.
not made a decision yet.
No, they're both 6 inches from the ball, staring at it.
And then
They say it's short. It was a credit card moment without the credit card. Wow.
I mean, you had 3 referees there. How many referees does it take to screw in a light bulb? They're all looking bent down over top of the ball, eyeballing this thing against the stick.
Unbelievable.
And they are going to be short by a whisker.
Literally a whisker.
1st and 10 for the Monroe Hornets. Go ahead, Dan, you have
honestly,
something.
if that would have been a New England Patriot football back when Tom Brady and it was overinflated or underinflated, it might have been a first down if it was a little bit bigger. Goodness sakes.
Oh, my goodness. So here we go. 1st down and 10 for the Monroe Hornets now with 9:37 left to go. And Miles keeps it. No, he handed the ball off. Miles has a very, very deceptive ability to either hand that to Jackson or keep it. It was Elijah Jackson pounding it up the middle for 3 yards there. And so 2nd and 7 for the Monroe Hornets.
Boy, you gotta feel for Ross there to come up that short.
That's a bad break for
They
the
were
Rams.
staring at it and staring at it. You think it's a first down? I don't know. Do you think it is?
They had to text each other, I think.
God almighty.
Sent it over TikTok to the Chinese government and how Xi tell him if it was short or not. Handoff to the wide back. That would be Landon Wynn. There's a flag behind the play as Wynn breaks out to the outside, across out of bounds, close to midfield for what would be a first down, but it's going to be called back due to holding. Dan, did you see the hold on the play?
Yeah, I thought it was K.J. Brown there on the hold, a wide receiver hold of all things.
On the outside.
Yeah, on the outside, grabbing the guy.
And so that's going to hurt this drive a little bit, potentially.
Oh, it's going to hurt it a lot.
I mean, Monroe did have second and first and very long on the previous drive that went 99 yards.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're down to 8:55 here. Now the clock is running, 8:52 in the second quarter.
So Monroe, second down and 13.
That's okay. Monroe's up 7-0 here, in case you just joined us. Beautiful night here in Monroe, wouldn't you say, Joel?
Oh, my gosh. As the sun sets, any warmth is going to kind of cool off and be real pleasant.
Kind of stuffy in the press box. Occasionally we get a nice cool breeze here.
Second down and 13.
Running left.
Handoff to Jackson up the middle.
Nice run.
Miles again met in the backfield. He's getting contact from Ross's defensive line in the backfield on every one of these handoffs because he's such a good job of whether he hands it or whether he keeps it. You got to kind of account for both runners there.
No, he didn't get the yardage I thought he did. I was looking at the offensive lineman in front of him.
The pile kept moving even though Jackson got tripped up.
That's what it was.
So the ball is back to the 35-yard line where we started this drive. It's third down and 10 for the Monroe Hornets. The trips wide receivers will be to the wide side of the field, which is the right side of the field now. Keep an eye out to see if we end up getting that cross-butt counter handoff like we had in the previous drive. And this is a pass attempt. Well, Miles going to keep it now. He doesn't like what he sees. He's going to run the football.
And he's sacked.
And he's sacked in the backfield, wrapped up by the Ross Rams. And Miles being very conservative and very judicious.
He had his receiver there. It was a little slant play. If he would have called it, he might have got 5 or 6 yards. But he just tucked it in and tried to run, and it wasn't there for him.
The man did not like that which he saw.
No, he didn't.
And, well, when you're playing a defensive game like this, sometimes the punt is not a bad thing. John Fox used to say that as the Panthers coach all the time.
That is a classic Joel. That's a classic Joel Sackenheim moment there. I got to give that the sack comment of the day.
McPherson's kick.
Oh!
Muffed and fallen on top of by the Ross Rams. Looks like the guy who came up with the ball was that the quarterback?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Back there to return. They got him returning punts, it looks like. That's something. Quarterback / defender / punt returner.
Well, they're putting a ball in their superstar's hands, I guess.
Trying to give him as many touches as they possibly can.
I was going to do the old cliche about selling popcorn at halftime, but I'll keep that one. It's a classic.
It's not a home game for Ross, so he's probably not selling popcorn to support the Monroe band boosters or anything of that nature. The chains have not moved yet.
No, they haven't.
The referees are chatting with Coach Commons right now over on the Ross sideline.
He doesn't look too happy over there either. Let's see what's going on.
And the referee is going to, it looks like, mark off a penalty. Oh, there's a penalty way back at the 26-yard line behind the punt.
There it is.
And Commons is going to make Monroe repunt this ball 10 yards farther back. I can't blame him on that, Dan.
Might be 5 yards back. It looked like it was illegal procedures what the preliminary call was. Let's see how far back he is walking. Yeah, just
good
5.
eye, Dan.
That's okay. 5 yards back. So they're going to be punting from the 26, Joel.
So Monroe will lose that phenomenal punt that was muffed and rolled even farther for the Hornets. And McPherson's going to have to go back out there and punt again.
And Ross is all the way up standing at their 36-yard line. So that's going to,
low snap.
Nice kick.
Beautiful punt.
Wow.
Right over the heads of the guy.
Wow.
Takes a sideways hop and finally down at the 24-yard line.
Wow.
Good gracious. That would be
Is that so?
Like 29 and another 24, 39, 49, about a 53-yard punt on that.
Is Sully Spencer also their punter? I didn't even get...
Sully Spencer's for Ross. This was Wyatt McPherson.
McPherson,
what?
My fault. What a kick that was. My goodness.
McPherson, well, there's a McPherson down on the Ohio River at the old Paul Brown Stadium that is known affectionately as the people's leg.
Yes.
This might be Monroe's version of the people's leg, McPherson for the Hornets.
I wonder if he's related. That's the question.
And there's a whistle being blown, and the referees are going to huddle to talk about something.
What happened was the Ross Ram center picked up the ball and put it back down, and the coach. Now, are they saying it's a penalty? It should be.
They're not going to go ahead and call a penalty. They're just going to go ahead and say no harm, no foul.
It's a do-over.
A do-over.
I love do-overs.
Here we have a very bizarre formation and a pitch play out of that formation to Jay Warren. Jay is going to run to daylight out to the right sideline. It's going to be wrapped up for about a 9-yard gain. Dan, it looked like you had a formation there. It was a pistol.
Yes.
So the quarterback was back in a short shotgun.
Yes.
That would be Caldwell. He had a fullback directly to the right with him, even with him, and then Jay Warren lined up directly behind him. Little double option pitch play there.
Yes, and the Monroe coaches were yelling the play off the formation before it was snapped. They have prepared.
First down and 10. So they gave Jay Warren enough of the first down. Caldwell's going to tuck this one and run himself. And a flag is being thrown by the referee on the Monroe sideline. So Caldwell's only going to get a couple yards. But it's not going to even matter because this flag is going to probably be on Ross, I would think. And
yes.
It is a holding penalty.
Yes, Braylon Lee was held on the play for Monroe. I mean, he was kind of in the backfield. He got up and he gave himself looked at the official and did the holding call just to help out the official. But the flag was already on the field. I love it when the players try and make the call.
And so they're going to go ahead and march this off.
There it is.
For about 10 yards, and now Ross is going to be behind schedule, as they call it. And that's not going to be pretty necessarily.
No.
Ross definitely does not want to be behind the 8 ball.
This game is so much like last year's game, don't you think?
Oh,
Different players, same game.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
No rain.
If possible, even more defense.
Yes.
First down and 21 for the Rams. And this is Caldwell, the quarterback, juking around, taking it back up the middle, and another flag behind the play.
And another flag.
As Logan Dooley, Monroe defender, got up, kind of looking up at the sky with his hands up in the air. He must have felt he got held. And so, indeed, there is a penalty on the Ross Rams. This is going to come back.
Wow. First and 31 coming up if they walk. Well, it's from the spot, though, in high school football, right?
From the spot. So if it was in the backfield, it's going to be even longer than 31. This is going to be a long way to go. It's one of those where you might even consider punting early. This was third down, at least you would consider
I was going to say that. You took the words right out of my mouth.
I have seen it done.
I know.
I have seen it done.
I've seen Ben Roethlisberger punt the ball on third down back when he was with Miami.
End of the first quarter over at Fairfield. The Baden Rams have a 7-0 lead over the Stallions of Columbus St. Francis de Sales. That's a team that Monroe is going to have to fight with for the #1 seed in Division III, Region 12. First down and 32 for the Ross Rams. Light years away. As the Rolling Stones would say, 2,000 light years from home.
Yes, that's correct.
I formation for the quarterback, Caldwell. Hands the ball up the middle, and he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage. I don't think this is going to be a loss, at least, so there's something.
I'll tell you, though, you got to love the confidence they have in the running game to run it off tackle on first and 33.
They're just going to go ahead and run the football.
That's what they do best. But a little play action there. I would have had to done that if I was the coach. Play action, throw to the tight end over the middle.
So here we go, second down, about the same amount to go for the Ross Rams. And Caldwell's going to keep this, tuck it, and run up the middle. Hurdles a man.
Nice.
Very nice run. It's not going to be anywhere near the sticks, but it's going to shave off about 10 yards there.
And the punter will appreciate that.
It's third down still, so we got another opportunity for the Ross Rams to do something of similar fashion.
He got 12 yards on that, Joel. That's pretty good.
Not a bad little run by the quarterback, Riley Caldwell, who's one of the best all-around athletes on Ross's roster.
Definitely.
3rd down and 20 for the Ross Rams at their own 25-yard line. Slot receiver to the right side of the formation. Caldwell wants to throw this ball. The first passing attempt for Ross for the season.
He got it.
It is complete to Severance. Emery Severance is going to pick up about 16 yards, but it's not going to be enough for the first down. Monroe is perfectly content to let him catch that ball and wrap him up and tackle him.
Caldwell showed me something there. He's got a good arm. That would have been a nice play to call on first down, though. Not on third.
There's not a lot in Ross's playbook for 3rd and 20, and a flag
Oh,
thrown
a late flag
on the Monroe Hornets.
And look at this.
This is going to give the Ross Rams enough for a first down. You believe that?
Wow.
And across midfield, this is going to be a personal foul. 15 yards.
So
tacked onto the end.
a first and 33, and they kept
And
the
they
drive
convert
alive.
it.
Yes.
First and 10.
They're all the way across the 50, folks, down to the 47 of Monroe.
We're down to 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Plenty of time for the Rams to be able to meander their way the rest of the way down the field. Matriculate. Handoff on the reverse to Jay Warren. Bounces to the right side.
Nice.
Runs out to daylight for enough for a first down. That was a little bit of a counter waggle on the play there. Fake to the fullback. Have Warren come across the other way for the handoff counter.
Very good, Joel.
Tried to help Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder to see this game out there tonight, and the rest of you. 3:46 remaining. The clock stops.
I don't think Ray Charles will see it unless he's in heaven. So.
Ah, that's true. Here we go. Stevie Wonder, different story.
Yes.
Man jumps toward the neutral zone from Monroe, but gets back in time. Did not cross into the neutral zone. Handoff to Warren up the middle in the I formation. And Warren is going to have about a 2-yard gain for the Rams.
If Ross could just, stay at this pace and score with under a minute to go, that would be having their cake and eating it too. They're not in any hurry right now.
No, they're not, but they don't really need to be yet. They're at the 32-yard line.
They have all 3 timeouts left, too.
Yes, they do.
So they can take their dear sweet time.
Mason Comets have put the first points up on the board in their game at Virgil Schwarm tonight. They lead the Hamilton Big Blue 7-0.
Interesting.
2nd down. Handoff goes wide. That's Severance. And Severance is going to pick up a few yards. Going to make it 3rd down and manageable. Clock's going to keep running. Below 3 minutes left to go now.
Go ahead. Would you call that like a little jet sweep kind of inside handoff
Yeah,
thing?
a little handoff jet sweep, and a Ross Ram is laying on the field right now injured. So the clock will stop at 2:51. Well, so far, this is the type of game, Dan, we thought we were going to see.
It is exactly the game we thought we were going to see. I jokingly asked both coaches before the game, guys going to go with a balanced offense, and they just gave me the look. Like, don't be a smart aleck, sir.
So, 3rd down and 4 coming out of the break. That is Jay Warren, the injured player.
He is running off the field, though, and the crowd's cheering, so probably just got the wind knocked out of him. But he does have to stay out for one play, a critical play. Yes.
So now we've got a 3rd down as Ross comes back out onto the field. Ball is spotted at the 28-yard line of the Rams.
We're down to 2 minutes and 41 seconds ago.
They wind the clock again.
Monroe's fans are screaming.
A fake.
Nice.
Caldwell's looking for the end zone.
He's got him in.
He has the man to the 5-yard line. It's caught inside the 5.
Touchdown.
Down into the end zone. A touchdown for the Ross Rams. Danny, see if you can get that receiver for me with the yellow number on the white jersey.
I'm sorry, I can't. and they score right where the sun is.
Bright spot of the sun there. Looks like the man coming off and chest bumping the coach is number 23, Andrew Gettler.
Good eye, Joel.
So I'm going to guess by his reaction there that might be Gettler with the touchdown.
Wow.
And we'll see Sully Spencer now come onto the field for an extra point once the referees have everything set up.
He's going to boom it right through, I guarantee you.
Here comes the snap. The hold is down. The kick is up. And it is wide to the left.
Wow.
And
Unbelievable.
so the Ross Rams are not going to tie up this game quite yet. It's going to be 7-6 in favor of the Monroe Hornets. We'll be right back. Now, you do so well, Dan, on that last drive for Ross, getting all the way down the field.
Yes.
Only to go ahead and miss the
Boy,
extra point.
Sully took out his anger missing that extra point.
He had the one wood out there on that play, didn't he? He drove that thing
the
way
ball
to the
bounced
end zone.
towards the back of the end zone on a fly and was shot out the back of the end zone. So he took out his anger on that kickoff. He pulled it left there, Joel.
Yeah.
It was a good snap. Everything looked fine. Just pulled it left.
The touchback is going to make it 1st down and 10 for the Monroe Hornets with a 7-6 lead at their own 20-yard line.
Now Monroe has 2 timeouts left, 2:25 to go. They are split on both sides, so passing formation.
Shotgun formation.
Sure.
And now finally, E.J. Jean will go back in the backfield alongside the quarterback Miles, who's going to run it up the middle. All of that window dressing for a run up the middle. That looked very much like a Baton Rams type of play with Yordy and Ritzy.
One thing about that is if you do spread everyone out, you know, all the quarterback has to do is get through the line, make a juke on the linebacker there, and he can run to daylight. So spreading them out like that is not a bad idea, just to trick them.
So here we go, 2nd down and 6 for the Monroe Hornets.
Monroe's not in a hurry.
And a quick pass out to Jean, and it's complete. And Jean is going to have almost enough for a 1st down.
He does.
Now they stop the clock, and they're going to go ahead and mark it for a 1st down. And now we have Jean a little bit shaken up down at the end of the play.
He's getting up. I think he took a helmet right in the stomach the way he's acting.
Swing pass, Danny Vogt.
Yes, it was. A very safe play there, too, you know. Very
Easy
safe.
pass. Well, if you don't love throwing and I think that might actually be the first time Monroe has actually thrown the ball tonight.
I think you're right.
They've called a few passing plays here and there, but they definitely have not. They've not actually thrown it yet.
Interesting. So they're winding the clock. The chains were set, and Monroe wasn't anywhere near the ball. We've lost 14 seconds on the clock. Here we go.
Here's the rollout. Quick pass outside to Alex Bemis. Bemis catches it, and the most important thing on that play is that he catches it to get out of bounds.
Yes.
It's going to be a minimal gain. It's not going to be a huge gain by any stretch, but it's going to be an out-of-bounds play, which is going to be able to stop the clock for Monroe, who would love to be able to try to get, I don't know how good field goal range is going to be with the backup kicker, but we're going to see.
3rd and 3. 3rd and 3. They can.
Sorry, 2nd and 3.
Okay, sorry about that. 2nd and 3, and they are.
Here's a handoff back across the grade to Jackson, who's going to try to run out of bounds, and he's tackled.
And he did get out of bounds.
He did get out of bounds. He was met by Austin Ferris on defense. Sorry, not Austin Ferris. It was number 12, Kyle Becker, the senior on defense. But he falls out of bounds, so that's going to be enough for a Monroe 1st down and a clock stoppage on this drive.
Now they're winding it.
Here we go. Handoff up the middle to Jackson. Maybe Monroe might take a timeout here. And
yes, they do.
there indeed is the timeout for Coach Mullins.
Love the clock management by Coach Mullins. He was standing literally right next to the official and said, boom, timeout. And he nailed it.
It's like he knew it was coming. You almost call that play with every intention of going ahead and getting a timeout called afterwards.
So they are currently
one timeout left.
Yeah, one timeout. They're at the 42-yard line. It is 2nd and 8. And right now, Monroe is up 7-6. The difference, a missed extra point by Ross. Monroe with a 99-yard drive, nothing but runs on the play. I have never seen that outside of Tony Dorsett running for 99 yards in 1978 or 77 when I was a youngster.
That was a while ago, Dan.
Yeah, it really was.
1977.
And I believe Frank Gifford was doing the call on Monday Night Football.
There is a player on Ross's roster, number 55, who is named Frank Gifford.
Wow.
And Danny and I, we both saw that name on the roster. We were talking to a couple of the Ross kids. 2nd down and 8 now. We'll finish that up in a second.
Oh, bad snap.
Miles going to have to try to throw it away or keep it, and there is the throwaway. Smart play by Miles for the incomplete pass to stop the clock and salvage what would have been Armageddon back there in the backfield.
Yes.
Yeah, Dan, we were talking to a couple of the Ross players, teenagers, before the game, trying to get pronunciation on all the players, reading off the roster of the Ross Ramsey's guys. We got to Frank Gifford, and we both kind of chuckled, and they looked at us, and they had absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I wanted to give him a hint, like, Kathy Lee's husband, but I don't think that would have registered.
They may not have even known Kathy Lee for all we know.
I don't think so.
I don't know, yeah.
Regis and Kathy Lee?
Well,
Who's Regis?
We're starting to get at that point now where that is starting to happen. 3rd down and 8. Miles
going
look
deep.
He's got man coverage. He's underthrown the ball.
Intercepted.
Kyle Becker was in the man coverage guarding Alex Bemis. That is not a bad decision.
That was a great throw, I thought. I loved it for several reasons. Who made the interception, Joel?
That was Kyle Becker, the senior, 5'9", 175 pounds.
Basically, the ball was thrown towards the center of the field, and the Ross player in that situation ran to the center of the field, cut off the receiver. The receiver tried to jump over the defender's back to catch the ball. It was almost like boxing out on a rebound, and Ross made the pick. Nice defensive play. It was a 50-50 ball.
And from Monroe's standpoint, again, it's an interception, but it's not bad. There's only 50 seconds left on the clock.
It's like a punt.
You got to try to get it down there anyway. If you complete it, great. You got a chance for points. If you don't, Ross is going to do anything you wouldn't think from their own 15.
Look at Ross.
Caldwell tries to call a passing play, and then he goes ahead and tucks it up, thinks better of it. He's tripped up in the backfield for about a 1-yard sack. The clock is going to run, and a timeout is taken by Ross. Now, this is interesting, Dan. Does Ross think they're going to be able to get into Sully Spencer's field goal range with only 39 seconds back inside their own 15-yard line?
I don't know why they called a timeout there, but obviously they must know. They might have a trick play here. They're going to pull it out. Who knows? When the quarterback there for Ross did roll out, he quickly just tucked the ball in, but he did have a wide receiver streaking down the right sideline. But he decided, let's play it safe and try and run a few yards.
This is not going to make Ross fans feel great. Over at Fairfield tonight at the Baden game, that Baden touchdown that has put them up 7-0, that was Aiden Brown who scored that touchdown for the Baden Rams. Aiden, of course, being a former Ross Ram, transferring over to Baden this year.
Yeah, he really wants to be drafted by the Los Angeles Rams later. He's a Ram through and through.
Who's he going to play college for? Rhode Island?
The Rhode Island Rams.
The Rhode Island Rams?
Do they have a horn on their helmet like the other Rams?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Incomplete pass on 2nd down, and so it'll be 3rd down. Again, I question the wisdom of that timeout. It's your own 15-yard line. You're not a passing team, and the odds of getting it all the way across midfield in only 36 seconds, I don't know. I could be wrong.
If it's not the strength of your team, you're almost playing into the hands of your defense.
Well, here's the field position. Monroe has 1 timeout left. If Monroe stops them here, there'll be 30 seconds still on the clock, and the Hornets would get great field position pending the outcome of the punt.
Very good. Well, to answer your question, there's a Rhode Island Ram helmet. It's beautiful.
A screen pass. It is complete. It is going to be out past the
Whoa!
25-yard line
Look
and
out!
broken loose. Dan, what do I know? This is going to go for a long, long way. This is Emery Severance, and he is tackled finally out of bounds.
At the 2-yard line.
KJ Brown makes a touchdown-saving tackle and is rolling on the ground, hobbling a little gimpy.
He's got a cramp.
19 seconds remain, and boy, did that flip the field. It was a screen pass, and Riley Caldwell had about 5 Monroe Hornets draped all over him. They pinned their ears back. They wanted that sack so badly, and it was the absolute perfect time to call a screen pass.
Well, you know what? Give the Ross coaching staff credit. They certainly had a play there that they knew would work, didn't
What
they?
do we know, Dan?
What do we know?
I mean, they had this all the way, easily in Sully Spencer's
First
field
goal
goal range,
3.
and a flag thrown. So the clock is going to stop at 14 seconds on the quarterback run that went for no yardage, and it's an illegal shift called on the Ross Rams. That's going to back up Ross 4 yards worth, or 5 yards worth, I should say.
Well, let's paint the picture here, guys. We have 14 seconds to go. They don't get to put the time back on the clock.
No, they don't.
So 14 seconds to go in the half. Ross has 2 timeouts. They're going to have a first down and 8 yards.
First and goal, and did Ross take a timeout here? 14 seconds left. They have 2 timeouts remaining, so they're going to use their second timeout here, it looks like, which, again, Dan, with 14 seconds left, okay. I mean, you're going to have enough to call at least one more running play here and possibly a pass into the end zone if they wanted to do it.
Wow.
Go ahead, Dan.
I don't agree with taking a timeout here.
Well, you know what? Little did we know, we didn't agree with taking the timeout in the first place when they were way back at their own 15-yard line. Didn't know they had an 83-yard screen pass in their arsenal.
I'm going to predict this. That will be the longest Ross pass play of the entire season, right there. We got to see it, Joel.
We got to see it, and it went all of 5 yards in the air.
we were dissing the
run
coaches,
for a
and
long way.
said,
Coach Cummins, if you hear this broadcast, you're going to go ahead and enjoy that. Yeah, we got some. The Monroe coaching staff in the booth next to us, Dan, is looking at the screen pass, and they're talking about a potential hold or a potential illegal man downfield from way back on that screen pass. It's too late. It was definitely not seen.
Okay, their beef was that the linemen were illegally downfield on the play.
It was a very slow developing screen pass, but referees did not call it on the field. First and goal from the 8. 14 seconds remain. Caldwell has Warren go in motion. Bobbles the snap. Comes up with the hands and up the middle. If the running back can get out of bounds, he'll save the timeout. He was not able to. That was Austin Ferris. The clock runs. 5, 4, 3. Cummins is ready to call the timeout with 2 seconds. 1 second. Ha! He was asking for it with 3 seconds left. Referee was not standing next to him, though. It's a good thing somebody saw him in time. There is 1 second remaining.
Interesting.
On the stadium clock.
So when the player hit the ground, there was 8 seconds to go in the half. Okay? Mm-hmm. You call the timeout there with 8 seconds, then you could literally do a quick slant and still kick the field goal.
I don't know that Ross feels great about a quick slant.
Okay.
They did not throw the ball last week at all in their 27-7 win over the Wilmington Hurricane.
Okay.
And, being in an obvious passing situation is not exactly something that Ross, I think, would love to be able to deal with much, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense.
Halftime show will be coming up. We're going to give you some scores and some playoff type of scenarios for lots of the local teams. So we'll step away just for a few minutes here after this last play, and then we'll go ahead and be able to get you all caught up. So if you want to take your chance after this next play and get a bite to eat, if you're listening on the radio, if you want to go ahead and hit the restroom, whatever else you have to do. Of course, probably, shoot, Danny, a lot of these guys probably have their phones in their pockets.
All right.
Take it with them.
Here we go. We're going to have hopefully some redemption here.
Sully Spencer, this is going to be a 24-yard attempt. It is up. It's long enough easily, and it is through. And so we have reached halftime here at the Hornets' Nest. And the score, the Ross Rams, after trailing a lot of the half, put together a nice drive right at the end, kick the field goal, and go up by a score of 9-7. So we are back here at the Monroe Hornets' Nest, and the Ross Rams have a 9-7 lead in a defensive struggle here at the half.
Nice resiliency by Ross, bouncing back after falling behind 7-0, giving up the 99-yard drive. Nothing but running. Ross has shown me a lot here in this second quarter.
Coach Commons called him a resilient group of guys.
That's the definition of resilience, what I saw in that second quarter.
Oh, they are absolutely resilient. All right, let's look around here. I want to see how this works here.
Okay.
We're going to look around at our out-of-town scoreboard. Look at this thing, Dan. All right, so first and foremost, out at Ross High School right now at the half, Chris Vogt covering this game and live streaming this. video only, no audio, because we stole his headsets to come up here and call a radio game tonight. Landmark Christian leads New Miami.
It's an announcerless game?
It's an announcerless game.
Okay, this is way before your time, but NBC, look it up on YouTube. NBC had an NFL broadcast of an announcerless game.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. So that's what this is.
Yeah, it's an announcerless game out there on YouTube. You can see it. New Miami already doing better than they did last year when they played Landmark at home. Landmark beat them 34-0. The Landmark Eagles are not an OHSAA affiliated team, so this game does not count for playoff standings. It is as if New Miami is having a bye tonight, but they're still playing and tuning up. So
and they're getting thumped, but they're learning from the thumping experience.
The thumpage,
yes.
Exactly. So looking at other Butler County scores, at halftime at Virgil Schwarm Stadium, the Mason Comets lead RV Crouch's Hamilton Big Blue 14-0. Coach Kastner always brings a defensive squad. RV Crouch got his first win last week for Hamilton High School against Coach Mahan, for Hamilton's former coach, out in West Claremont. So a little tougher sledding tonight for Hamilton as they start out GMC play. Continuing in the GMC, second quarter score at the Hawk's Nest, right down I-75 from here, 1-2 more exits. Lakota East getting thumped by their arch rivals, the Lakota West Firebirds. Lakota West, really good team. Might be the best team in Division I Region 4. Might still not get the #1 seed, even if they are the best team in Division I Region 4. They beat St. Xavier last week, but St. Xavier is going to have a lot more opportunities than the Harbin Points to pick up points. Fairfield, first quarter score at Barnett Stadium, leading the Middletown Middies by a score of 15-0. Congratulations to Middletown and Coach Don Simpson. They got their first win of the year last week against the Loveland Tigers.
And congratulations to Fairfield for keeping the nickname the Indians.
The Indians. We've got old school Indian logo up there. Hopefully nobody from Fairfield gets too mad at us for going old school tonight.
Oh, that's beautiful.
For the Fairfield Indians.
I love it.
At Kubler Field, the Edgewood Cougars are up 13-10 over the Clinton Massey Falcons. Clinton Massey, Division IV Region 16. They are football royalty, but they lost last week to the Waynesville Spartans. Now, Waynesville's a pretty good team, but that's not the type of game that Clinton Massey typically loses.
No.
The final score of that game was 14-7. If Clinton Massey loses to Waynesville as well, they would start out 0-2. Edgewood would feel thrilled that they would get a win, but they'd also have to wonder, what does this really mean? Clinton Massey has Fenwick Falcons next week, 3 straight road games for the Clinton Massey Falcons.
It might be a rare rebuilding year for Clinton Massey.
It could be. St. Francis de Sales, who Baden is playing tonight, is on Clinton Massey's schedule coming up in week 4, so it won't get a whole lot easier for Clinton Massey. Reading leads the Talawanda Brave at the half up in Oxford by a score of 7-0. Talawanda is who Monroe beat last week, so this is a game that Monroe would have great interest in for second level points. If Talawanda can come back and win that game, beating a Division IV school, it would be 5 second level points for the Monroe Hornets as they seek to put pressure on Baden in Division III Region 12. Speaking of Baden, the Baden Rams on an Aiden Brown touchdown have a 7-0 lead over the Stallions of Columbus St. Francis de Sales. Nick Yorty said last week when we talked to him up in Cleveland playing Villa Angela St. Joseph, nobody wants to play us.
Yes.
Well, Alter, I remember saying that years ago. Nobody wants to play us. We got to go out to Timbuktu to find an opponent that'll play us. It's a good problem to have for Baden. If they can win tonight over this really good St. Francis de Sales team, Baden is set up for the inside track at the #1 seed. Interestingly enough, Baden lost to Chardon in the state final last year. Chardon has won back-to-back state championships. The year before Chardon beat Baden in the state final, they beat Columbus St. Francis de Sales in a Division III state final.
Well, it's
in double overtime.
Hurrah for St. Francis de Sales. They're going to play anyone, aren't they?
So these are the last 2 teams that Chardon has won state championships again. St. Francis de Sales, like Ross, has since been bumped up to Division II. So a few extra points there for Baden if they can pull off this win tonight. Fenwick Falcons were only up 3-0 for a while against the pesky Madison Mohawks, who are rebuilding after an 0-10 season last year.
Did the Mohawks get the permission of the Mohawk tribe to keep their name?
I don't know.
I'm just wondering.
It's a good question.
It's a very good question.
I don't know. Fenwick has gotten 2 late touchdowns in the second quarter to pull away a little bit. 17-0 at Cruisling Field there on a grass field.
With the red scoreboard.
And actually, Madison plays on a grass field as well. So 2 grass field opponents there going head-to-head. You don't see that very often.
No, you never see it.
The Wilmington Hurricane. Hey, look at this, Ross Rams. Wilmington lost 27-7 to Ross last week. If Wilmington can win tonight, 5.5 second level points will go into Ross's column. Way too early to know who's going to win that game out in Wilmington, but so far so good as far as
What's Miami
Ross is
Trace's
concerned.
nickname?
The Panthers.
Oh, it looks like a panther with bad gingivitis.
Well, Danny, maybe we can take that panther with bad gingivitis over to Loveland to visit the offices of one Dr. Daniel J. Vogt, DDS.
Thank you. I'll slip you that 20 after the game.
This one is interesting. Ross plays Valley View coming up. I believe that game is next week. And Valley View is a tough opponent. Ross scheduled up, thinking they were scheduling up. Valley View has dropped down to Division 5. But Valley View is 1-0. They beat the Springfield Shawnee Braves last week. They are having their hands full with Milton Union tonight, the Bulldogs. Milton Union is very much an up-and-coming team. Ross would love to see Valley View win that game to be worth a few extra points for them in future. These are all Ross's opponents we're going through right now.
Joel, good job with these logos. Did you just find these on the internet?
I spent time doing this over at truck driving school this week while the kids were taking tests. So what can I say?
That's fabulous.
Have not seen a score yet from Dayton Dunbar against Whitehall Yearling, but this game was scheduled very, very last minute. The Dunbar Wolverines were supposed to be heading to Columbus to play Walnut Ridge tomorrow. Walnut Ridge is one of the Columbus public schools that the teachers have gone on strike. The entire Columbus Public School District has teachers on strike, and so not only is there no class for any of the students while the strike is figured out, but all of the football games have been canceled indefinitely until the teacher strike is resolved. So Whitehall Yearling was supposed to play a Columbus area team.
Right?
The Whitehall Yearling Rams were supposed to play against Columbus Northland tonight. That game did not happen. Dunbar was supposed to travel over to Columbus to play Walnut Ridge tomorrow. That game did not happen. Dunbar and Whitehall Yearling got together and said, hey, Whitehall, you're planning on hosting a game at your stadium. You've already sold tickets. You need an opponent to play. We don't have anybody
almost
to play.
Almost like a COVID makeup game.
It's almost like a COVID game, but it's teacher strike related there. I've not seen a score yet for the Rams and the Wolverines over there in Whitehall, Ohio. First quarter score in Indian Hill. The Northwest Knights lead the Indian Hill Braves, plural, by a score of 7-3.
If the Braves played the Brave, wouldn't they win just based on punctuation?
Punctuation? Well, there'd be more of them, that's for sure. Yes.
That's for sure.
Indian Hill lost last week to McNicholas 56-7.
Wow.
Indian Hill is a very good football program, but that's an ugly first week score. And Northwest right now giving them all they can handle. Maybe this is a down year for Indian Hill. That's not great news for Indian Hill, although Northwest obviously is a team that Ross will play being a conference opponent, so that's good news for the Ross Rams. East Central Indiana, this is not good news for the Ross Rams, leading the Harrison Wildcats 21-0 in the second quarter. Danny, you said that the SWAC was winless other than Ross last week?
That is correct. Every team in the SWAC has lost in week 1. So the Ross Rams are the only undefeated team out of the SWAC.
And contrary to popular opinion, that is not good news for Ross, because Ross needs all of their conference opponents to win as many games as possible.
Yes, teams in the SWAC include Edgewood, Harrison, Mount Healthy, Northwest, and Talawanda, and they all did lose in week 1.
Well, this will be good news. We got somebody else off the schneid. Last night on Thursday Night Football at Welcome Stadium, the Mount Healthy Owls get their first win of the season, their first win in the post-Arvie Crouch era.
That might be the best logo I've ever seen Mount Healthy. That's beautiful. It's an
owl with the M and the H.
But it's beautiful. I love that.
Arvie Crouch no longer there, rebuilding, but take a trip up to Dayton, beat up on one of the Dayton public schools 42-7. That'll make you feel good about yourselves. That'll give you some second-level points if Ross can beat them later on this year. Looking at scores, Monroe, they play Western Brown later on this year. That was a 66-58 final last year.
Wow.
Western Brown plays no defense, but they try to outscore everybody. They are out in Washington Courthouse playing the Blue Lions of Washington High School tonight.
Where are the Blue Lions from?
Washington Courthouse.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
And so 21-13, the gentleman from Mount Orab trying to outscore the Blue Lions out there at the courthouse tonight. Brookville Blue Devils have a 14-7 lead over a MAC school, Midwest Athletic Conference, the Anna Rockets. 14-7 the score there. Two pretty good football programs. Brookville is on Monroe's schedule later on this season.
And Anna's always good.
They are. The Northridge Polar Bears have a 13-0 lead over the Lumberjacks of Oakwood.
Now, who was the Northridge Polar Bears' biggest fan on WMOH?
Oh, that was Bob Long.
Yes.
He loved the Polar Bears.
He loved the Polar Bears.
Oakwood is on Monroe's schedule later on this year, so they are definitely hoping for a Lumberjack comeback.
Is it the Oakwood Tom Selleck's based on that logo there? No, it's not?
It's the Lumberjack.
Oh,
man.
it looks like Tom Selleck
I
to
like
me.
it. I like it.
I think you found a Tom Selleck picture there.
Not seen a score on Twitter yet from Carlisle and Miami East, but Carlisle is the Week 6 opponent from Monroe. The Week 7 opponent from Monroe is the Franklin Wildcats with Larry Cox. This is a bit of a stunning score. Franklin lost last week to Fenwick. Good news for Baden, bad news for Monroe, but Beaver Creek?
Wow.
Little old Beaver Creek, Division I school, but they
Are
don't
they the
ever,
Beaver Creek
they're the
Beavers?
Yeah, they don't ever
That makes
win.
sense.
The
Yes.
Beaver Creek Beavers, my goodness. I'm trying to look up here real quickly when the last time the Beavers have won a game, because they don't win very often in that conference up there. That conference has changed names a couple times over the years. Beaver Creek went 0-10 last season.
Wow. Wow.
The year before that, in the COVID year, as we try to get JoeIdle.com to come up here, Beaver Creek was shut out 4 times last season. So
Look
a
at
lead
that.
over the Larry Cox Franklin
Larry
Wildcats.
Cox cannot be happy.
That is not something that they want there for Fenwick, and or for Franklin, I should say, and that's not great news for Monroe looking at second-level points. The Greenview Rams lead Waynesville. Greenview beats Madison last week. Waynesville beats Clinton Massey last week, and so far, it's Greenview with a lead over Waynesville. Again, maybe Clinton Massey just isn't as good as people previously thought. Who knows?
Maybe it's just the reputation precedes them, right?
So Waynesville also on Monroe's schedule, not necessarily the result Monroe wants to see there. Bellbrook, this is a result Monroe would like to see. The Bellbrook Golden Eagles, who lost last week, they're 0-1. They lost to Tippecanoe 14-10 last week.
Wow.
Not the result Monroe wants there either, but a 17-6 lead right now over the Vikings, a Division I opponent. So that would make Bellbrook worth 6.5 second-level points when Monroe plays them in Week 9. The Eaton Eagles are the Week 10 opponent from Monroe. They lose on Thursday Night Football to the Braves of Springfield Shawnee. So, looking at the Harbin points, get out your eye chart. If you have this on your big screen TV right now, go full screen so you can see this. You'll see Monroe right now tied with New Richmond and the Tecumseh Arrows at number 1 right now. It's very early. Ross, because of their win, would be worth 5.5 second-level points because they beat a Division III-sized school last week. So that would be very helpful for Monroe if they want to stay on the number 1 line after this week. Baden, as you see them on the number 4 line, they play Columbus St. Francis de Sales. They are worth, at the moment, an identical share of points that Ross is worth to Monroe. 5.5 second-level points, 6 first-level points, a Division II opponent that beat a Division III team last week. It was Tri-Valley, who Columbus St. Francis de Sales beat last week. Although Talawanda not doing their part to help Monroe, they're worth 5 more second-level points if they can win tonight. They're losing right now. And Villa Angela St. Joseph, now I have not seen that score yet. They were playing Cleveland, John F. Kennedy.
Wow.
And so we got a Twitter search here, if we can find it, for a Cleveland John F. Kennedy score against Villa Angela St. Joseph. And if we find anything about that at all, we will let you know. But we've not seen that. Obviously, Baden would love to have VASJ win as many games as possible.
And if you're hearing the smattering of boos, Ross is entering the field.
And so as Ross enters the field, we will look at Ross in Division II, Region 8. It's only 22 teams. That's not too bad. Ross is on the 9 line right now after their win over the Wilmington Hurricane last
Joel,
week.
how many teams make the playoffs?
16.
They still kept it at 16.
They still kept it at 16. 11 teams won last week in this region. 11 teams lost. I don't see Fairborn, the Skyhawks, being much of a fight. I also don't see Loveland being all that great, and Talawanda is still trying to rebuild as well after Monroe drebbed them last week. So that's at least 3 teams there you can kind of put off toward the bottom, and then you're fighting for 19 teams for those 16 spots in theory.
Okay, gotcha.
For Ross. Now, Ross, again, yeah, you look at the entire conference right now. Northwest Week 6, Talawanda Week 7, Harrison Week 8, Edgewood Week 9, not worth any second-level points, any of them. Mount Healthy, I will have to update that, but that will be worth 5 second-level points now after their win over Ponitz Tech. That's the Week 10 opponent for Ross. If Wilmington wins, you see them in white there, 5.5 second-level points. We'll go to the Ross Rams. That'll help jump them up just a little bit as they fight for position neck and neck with everybody else. We looked at Division I. We were talking about St. Xavier. We were talking about Lakota West. Well,
look who's at the top.
You got Fairfield, Hamilton, Lakota West, Springboro, all there tied in first place. Lakota West, if you look, weeks 2 through 10, they play GMC opponents.
Yes.
Okay? That means that everybody in the GMC as a whole is going to go collectively 5-5 every week for the next 9 weeks. And if Lakota West goes undefeated, that means all of their opponents are winning 44% of their games the rest of the way. So you look at St. Xavier, they're on the 15 line. They lost to Lakota West. They have a Sunday afternoon game on ESPN against Loyola Academy of Illinois in one of the Chicago suburbs. Nationally televised game. They've got an opponent from Penn, Indiana, Week 4. They got Olentangy Liberty at Columbus School, Division 1, in Week 3. They won't be able to see the mouse anyway, Dan, if we do that. They got Moeller and Elder, both have won. Trinity, Kentucky. The Kentucky schools have not been categorized. The KHSAA have not gotten back to the OHSAA, according to Joe Idle, when he and I were messaging each other this week. You got a Cleveland St. Ignatius team in Week 9. You got Life Christian Academy in Virginia, Week 10, who's a Division 7 equivalent.
That is an exotic schedule.
It's an exotic schedule, and it basically means everybody. Moeller, Elder, and LaSalle have a chance to get 7 non-conference wins if they can pull it off. Well, St. X would only have a chance for 6 because they got Lakota West, of course, as the loss. But that would make those conference games worth a heck of a lot more than those GMC games that Lakota West is going to be looking at. Playing a 9-game conference schedule will raise the floor and guarantee you a certain number of points, but will also lower the ceiling and put a cap on how high you can score.
So basically, you're going to guarantee yourself an 8 or 9 seed, even if you're mediocre. Am I right?
It's one of those things, yeah. I mean, the middle of the GMC is going to be in the middle of this board, pretty much. That's the way it's going to fall. But it is possible. You want to talk about the outrage in Westchester? It is extreme. I'm calling it now. You've heard this in Week 2. It is possible if St. X runs the table, goes 9-1, even goes 8-2, but loses to the right team. Lakota West goes 10-0 with a head-to-head win over St. X. It is still absolutely possible for the Bombers to leapfrog Lakota West based on how exotic that schedule is if all of those other teams go 8-9 wins. That's the key. How many wins are you getting from everybody else in your schedule?
Yeah, it's not who you beat or who you lost to in this regard. It's who you're beating later.
It's who you beat and how many wins
the
teams you beat have. Look real quickly at New Miami. I know Chris Votes over there covering that game. And as I said earlier, the New Miami Vikings, they're on the 20 line right there. That landmark Christian game you see in Week 2 is all blacked out. That is a non-OHSAA sponsored team. So this is the equivalent
of a scrimmage,
of having a bye week as far as the OHSAA is concerned. It'll lower the divisor to 9 or 90 on Joe Idle's website because you got to divide it by 10. I just have it already pre-divided by 10 there in that L2 divisor category. But a loss to Gamble Montessori last week. They'll resume play in games that matter for the high school playoff points against Deer Park next week, a Division 6 opponent who lost to Purcell Marion in Week 1. So The teams are back on the field, as Dan said. It is halftime here at the Hornets' Nest, and quickly moving towards the third quarter as the clock runs and is all triple zeros on the scoreboard. Dan, what would your adjustments be at halftime? Either team.
My first adjustment is don't doubt the coaching staff of the Ross Rams. That's my adjustment.
You got an 83-yard screen pass dialed up, ready to roll. Not a problem.
Not a problem. I said a trick play. I guess to them a screen pass is a trick play. If you listen to the broadcast, I said they might have some kind of trick play, Joel. And a screen pass, and according to the coaches next to us, with most of their linemen illegally downfield, that was a trick play.
Well, I'll tell you what, Monroe took the bait on that play. They had five guys in the backfield hawking over the quarterback. And the quarterback, Riley Caldwell, was able to just barely get it out of his hands in time into the waiting arms of Emery Severance, the sophomore scat back, who is getting some extra severance pay for Ross tonight.
I'll tell you what the adjustments will be. I would get in the face of the offensive line, and I would say you have to dominate up front and win the line of scrimmage because we are running teams, and that's the way we're going to win the game. It's very simple, but that's what's going to happen.
Halftime score. At Fairfield, Baden is up 10-0 on St. Francis de Sales. Short kickoff, going to bounce toward the sideline and finally roll out of bounds at the 15-yard line. The quarterback, Riley Caldwell, was back there deep to return the kick, and it bounced right in front of him and took a bit of a diagonal hop and rolled and rolled. Kind of brave for Caldwell not to fall on it, but it rolled out of bounds, not a problem. And Ross is going to start the ball at the 35.
Smart guy. He's a quarterback. He knows errant snaps. He knows the way the ball spins. I guess he thought, that's going to go out of bounds. I'll just leave it alone.
Fenwick now up 24-0 over Madison early in the third quarter. And from Dick Maloney on Twitter, East Central Indiana taking no prisoners. Scores with 7 seconds remaining in the half. They take a 35-7 lead over the Harrison Wildcats. So far, it's not looking like the strongest year for the SWAC through a week and a half of play. And that'll give Ross opportunities to win some games, no matter how few people they've lost or whatever with the tax levy thing. They're putting it together with duct tape and playing very resiliently, but it's also going to hit them in the rear end in terms of second-level points if they win all those games against a bunch of teams that are losing games.
So out-of-bound kick in high school, I guess you get the ball at the 35.
35. Here's the pistol formation with Jay Warren behind. Handoff goes to Warren. He is wrapped up brilliantly by Wyatt McPherson, the linebacker, number 44 for Monroe. And Warren looked like he might have had a hole. McPherson jumped up there to close it up. It's only going to be a 1-yard gain. It's going to be 2nd and 9.
So there you go. Just like I thought, let's keep running the ball. Let's dominate the line of scrimmage. In that case, Monroe dominated the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 9. Again, everybody pretty much knows you're going to throw the football. Or, excuse me, run the football.
I thought you were being sarcastic. Sorry about that.
Thinking about Western Brown. I'm looking at them at Twitter right now. Here's Caldwell taking the snap and then trying to run back around to the left-hand side.
He's
tucking
shifting
it up. He's going to get a lot more yardage than you would have thought until he meets Wyatt McPherson. And McPherson hits him like a brick wall. 7 yards downfield. That was a quarterback run all the way. He tried to run right, had no room. Switched all the way back, tried to run left, had some room until he met McPherson.
To tell you the tenacity of McPherson on that play, he shoved the quarterback 7 yards back and then tackled him. They gave him his forward progress. No penalty on the play. It wasn't dirty. It was just driving and good, strong football.
Couple men almost jump on the Monroe defensive line, but they don't flinch into the neutral zone. So Ross will reset their offense on 3rd and 2 here. Important play. Fake handoff. Caldwell keeps it. Tucks it up behind his fullback and gets just enough. A wily run for the junior quarterback there, Dan.
It was nice because if he would have handed it off to the fullback, it would have been stopped short. He saw that, kept the ball, spun around the right, got about 4 yards.
Just outside and then tucked it up real quickly.
Yes. Ross is getting near midfield. They're at the 47-yard line, 1st down here. If you just joined us, Ross leads 9-7.
Handoff.
Inside counter.
Handoff. That looks like that's Severance there. He runs up the middle for about 2.5, maybe 3 yards to midfield.
Severance pays the price on that play.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I like that, Dan.
All right.
We'll be here all night.
I just want to hear Frank Gifford on the field.
I know. It would be good to call Frank Gifford. 2nd down and 7 from midfield. 9:39 remaining and counting in the third quarter of play. Ross has a 9-7 lead over the Monroe Hornets. Pistol formation with the fullback to the left. This is a handoff. No, a fake handoff to Severance. Caldwell keeps it, stumbles over the turf monster, falls right back at the line of scrimmage at the 50-yard line. No harm, no foul there.
No, but he had room if he wouldn't have fallen down there. There you go.
So we have a 3rd down and 7 now.
The Monroe Hornet is coming literally into our booth.
Yeah, we got a Monroe Hornet hanging out on the outside of our window. We had to close it and make it even stuffier in here because that's one Monroe Hornet we don't want visiting us up here in the press box. 3rd down and 8 now.
You might hear an echo effect here because of the Monroe Hornet.
And we have a whistle being blown from the Monroe sideline. And we'll see what we have here as the referee has an equipment problem. That looks like it is Ryan Imes, the senior, who has to come off for one play for the equipment problem. Up in the Western Buckeye League, here's a Division III team, the Wapakoneta Redskins. Have a 14-0 lead over the Titans from Ottawa-Glandorf right now. Wapakoneta in Baden and Monroe's region. 3rd and 7. Caldwell's going to throw. It's an interception. It is picked off by Braden Reese. Reese cuts back across midfield, out past the 40-yard line, and Monroe is in business, and that might be why Ross doesn't throw it all that much, Dan.
I agree with you. Unfortunate. That's the play where he should have probably kept it and ran. This might be the game-changing moment because, boy, Ross seemed to just have the momentum from the second quarter on. They're driving. The fans are going crazy now.
They had momentum. That 3rd down was not even a 3rd and very long.
No, it wasn't.
And
what
kind
was
of
it, 7?
Yeah, kind of a reckless decision there.
Yeah, it was.
Halftime.
Didn't you think
Roger Bacon Spartans lead Aiken 14-0. Go on.
Did he throw it across his body?
A little bit.
Yeah, I thought so too.
A little bit. Kind of threw it backwards across the field a little bit, and Braden Reese was ready for it. He might as well have been the intended receiver on that play. It went right to him. 1st and 10. Fake throw. Looking
the bomb, he's got him. Oh!
And just underthrew Alex Bemis. He had Ross fooled on that play just a little bit. A play-action fake into man coverage down the right sideline. And, yeah, had that been a little bit better of a throw, that would have been your, again, 2 for 4 with a touchdown pass type of thing.
Yes, exactly.
That Monroe is looking for.
Yeah, Bemis was streaking. He had probably a 3-yard cushion there on the defender, but the ball was a little bit underthrown.
2nd down and 10 for the Monroe Hornets at the Ross 39-yard line. Flexbone formation, man goes in motion. It's a handoff to Jackson up the middle. The fake was to Reese. It goes to Jackson. He only buries himself for about a yard. That's all he's going to get. It's going to set up 3rd down and 9, although, Dan, you probably have 2 plays if you're Monroe here.
Yes, you do.
Because you're in that kind of tweener area where do you punt it, do you not punt it, how do you want to handle that? 3rd down and 9 now.
Well, they have split wide both sides, so obviously passing formation, or it could be a handoff to the fullback up the middle.
4 wide receivers. This is a fake handoff, and the quarterback, Miles, is going to keep it after the zone read. He's going to get about half of the yardage here. It's going to be 4th down and 5. We'll see how Coach Bob Mullins elects to play this. I got to think they go for this, Dan, right?
They certainly go for it because they're at the 34. So, but let's see what kind of play he dials up here.
Halftime score, Sydney leads Tippecanoe 13-10. That's the battle of the Red Devils and the Yellow Jackets.
Wow, colorful game.
Yeah, colorful game. Sydney in Ross's region, Tippecanoe in Monroe's.
4th and 5, we have just the lone fullback in the backfield. Here we go.
And man in motion, it is a wide handoff. That is to Wynn. Wynn is going to try to break a couple tackles, and Ross is going to string him out. all the way over there to the
Congratulations
sidelines.
to the Ross defense.
And Ross D is going to get off the field.
Fabulous stop.
No harm, no foul on the interception. If your defense has got your back like that, you can take a few more risks on offense.
There's the resiliency, as you said earlier, but with the coach. That is a classic example of it there. All the mighty momentum shifted.
And is now shifted right back to Ross. As Monroe unable to even get a first down.
And I like the way Ross carried themselves. When they stopped him, they weren't jumping up and down and going crazy like they just won the game. They just kind of trotted off the field and said, yeah, we stopped them.
We expected to do that, right?
Yeah, I liked it.
Simple as that. 1st and 10, Ross Rams at their own 34-yard line. Man goes in motion. That is Severance. Handoff to Jay Warren on the counter. Warren is starting to get a little bit stronger as this game is going on. You're seeing a little more push.
That will look like a little hit stick, as they say in the old video game land.
Well, if you remember, last year we had the Monroe-Ross game.
Yeah.
At Robinson Field. And it was one of those games, as the game wore on and on and on a humid evening, Ross looked like it was just a little bit better conditioned than Monroe did. And that made just a slight difference. One touchdown was the difference in the game here. We're going to have to watch this offensive line for Ross here and see if they continue to get a little extra push on the ball.
That's right.
2nd down and 5. Handoff up the middle to Warren. Bounces it wide. Defensive pressure. Finally jumps outside and out of bounds after gaining about 2 or 3 yards. Salvaged a pretty good gain there.
Very shifty on that play. Looked like he should have been stopped 2 or 3 times and just kept bouncing it outside.
Keep the legs churning. Dig, 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 dig. Halftime score in Washington Courthouse. Western Brown. What can they do for Monroe? They're leading 28-13 over the Blue Lions.
Third and 3. Sorry to interrupt.
Western Brown plays Monroe here at the Hornets' Nest. Out at Mount Orab next week. 3rd and 3.
Here we go. Straight up the middle.
You know, it's Caldwell, the quarterback, who keeps it. And he's met by who else? Wyatt McPherson.
Oh, man, what a hit it was.
And Ross is not going to get anything on this drive. This half is starting just like the first half started a little bit.
Very much. Here comes the punt team as it is 4th and 3.
So here we go, 4th and 3, and it looks like the punter is going to come on for the Rams. As it gets dark, it's even harder to see these yellow numbers on the white jerseys.
I'm glad. You might have to just memorize them by their body shape.
Falls at the 41-yard line, 4th and 3. Here comes the punt. It's going to be across the 30-yard line, fielded, muffed, and fallen on by Noah Montgomery. Montgomery does fall on it and avert crisis there for the Monroe Hornets. Kind of bangs himself in the head there at the end of that play. A little disappointed, a little disgusted with himself in how that ended up. But Monroe will get to keep the ball deep in their own territory. The only drive that Monroe has scored all game long was the 99-yard drive.
Maybe they have a penchant for long drives here. This is going to be an 85
if they can do it. Halftime score, Lakota West leads Lakota East 35-0. That's going to be a running clock for the entire second half in the Battle of Lakotas in the GMC. 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. I hate the running clock, too. People pay good money, only get half a game. Well, Miles fakes the pitch, delays, and runs up the middle using his fullback as a leading block. Gets about 7 yards up the middle. Did you get the tackle on that one, Dan?
Yeah, that was Bryson Baston again.
So McPherson on the defensive linebacking core for Monroe, and Baston, defensive linebacking core for Ross. Dueling number 44s out here patrolling the middle of the defenses.
Between them, they might have 44 tackles by the end of the night.
They've been everywhere defensively, those two gentlemen. Under center again. This is a handoff to Jackson, who's going to run to daylight off the right tackle. Punishing run. He's going to get about 7 or 8 yards, maybe closer to 10, before he's finally brought down.
And that was Carson Adams on the tackle for Ross.
And so a 1st and 10 for Monroe now at their own 33-yard line. 4.5 minutes and counting remaining in the third quarter of this defensive struggle.
It's very defensive.
Don't need be so defensive there, Dan. Just making a point.
Boom!
Handoff to Jackson, and I think Miles got rid of the ball. Jackson's like, thanks a lot.
And Baston again in the backfield with a tackle.
Moeller leads Louisville Trinity 21-0 in the second half.
The mighty men of Mo. I expect another good year out of Moeller this year.
The GCL South button is alive and well. We shall see as the Harbin points.
2nd and 10 now for the Monroe Hornets.
Ball is at the 33-yard line for Monroe. They're not all organized as they're trying to move Connor Loper from one side of the line to the other. Now they have everybody set, and a man jumps early.
No, it was the right tackle on number 56 on Monroe.
Yep, Tyson Rupp. And this is the plight of the poor offensive lineman. Tyson Rupp, the only time we're calling your name. It's the one bad play you made all day. 5-yard penalty. It's going to be 2nd and 15 now for the Hornets. Clock will continue to run as we're below 3.5 left to go in the third quarter play. These drives can take a while if the offenses can start moving the ball. Edgewood leads 19-17 now over Clinton Massey. Spirited game at Kumler Field.
Very.
Man in motion. Handoff to Jackson.
Drilled.
And there's going to be maybe a yard worth of forward progress, about as much as you can possibly hope for.
Baston on a tackle once again. I'm just going to put that on loop.
Just put it on loop.
Yep. Baston with the tackle. Baston with the tackle.
Mason scored again. They're up 21-0 over Hamilton High at Virgil Shoreham Stadium.
You're pretty close with Coach Kraus there.
Crouch, yeah.
Crouch.
Harvey Crouch.
What kind of year does he expect out of his
Well,
club?
I don't know how much rebuilding is going to do, but I can tell you that man can flat out coach. They're going to get better. And I know he's going to call in every game. 3rd and long. Miles going to try to run it out of the shotgun formation. He coughs up the football.
I think he was down.
Was he down? Was he not? Referees have not really made a very definitive symbol as they get together at huddle and conference about this. Ross has the ball, and a flag is thrown at the last minute as Miles, the quarterback, is writhing around in pain on the ground. He got hit low, taken out at the knee there. He does get up, kind of doesn't sprint off, but gingerly kind of hops off a little bit as the referees still huddle together around the 35-yard line. This could be any number of things, Dan.
Okay, I'm going to say it was an emotional play. I'm going to say unsportsmanlike. I'm going to say a little cuss words, screaming and yelling. We jacked your jaw.
We've got an unsportsmanlike conduct on Monroe. Probably one of the linemen coming in and hitting a Ross Ram late, not happy with what happened to his quarterback.
Exactly.
I can understand that completely.
It's not a fumble, though.
Are they ruling it down by contact? That's the more important question right now. They can march off the 15-yard penalty. Unless it's a sideline warning.
Yeah,
they are marching off the 15-yard penalty.
But it is still Monroe's ball. There was not a fumble.
Correct. So that at least will help out Ross somewhat. The down is going to count, so it's now going to be 4th down for the Monroe Hornets. It's 4th and forever. This is clearly going to be a punt from the 19-yard line.
So this is quite a shift in field position here. The punter is back at his own 4-yard line. So any kind of decent punt, or you're going to see the Ross Rams get the ball at maybe the 40, 45-yard line.
McPherson has probably his best punt of the night. It's going to bounce to the 35-yard line and keep rolling all the way back inside the 20. Finally fielded at the 17-yard line. That's Kyle Becker, and Becker is dropped. We're going to go 31 plus another 30 plus another 3. 64-yard punt for Wyatt McPherson, courtesy of a long 20-yard roll.
Well,
misplay by the Ross Rams.
The whole story behind that was Ross had 2 players back to return the punt. He kicked it between them, and they both thought the other guy was going to field it. And then they ran.
You got it. No, you got it.
Right. It's kind of like watching the Cincinnati Reds on a fly ball in the outfield. They both look at each other, and the ball goes boink.
Right in between them.
Oh, man.
Williams and Norton collide, and the catch is blown. Angels in the outfield. Minute 56 left to go. Third quarter of play. Ross has the ball at their own 23 after a 6-yard return. There's a pitch to Jay Warren. He's bouncing out to the right side of the line. He's going to get out to the sideline. He's going to be taken down for about a 5-yard gain, so Ross is going to have a second down and manageable. Brookville Blue Devils are leading the Anna Rockets 20-14. Brookville is one of the opponents that Monroe will play in week 4.
I kind of have the feeling watching this game that whoever scores next will win the game because the defense is so strong.
The defense has been going very well.
It's 9-7. I mean, we'll see if that prediction's right.
Well, kicking advantage for Ross certainly.
Definitely.
Because of Sully Spencer versus the freshman in his first ever start after the appropriately named kicker.
Look at that.
Handoff up the middle. Helmet goes flying for Monroe. Couple late hits there. Another kind of pushing and shoving as these gentlemen are not all that pleased to be in each other's company.
But most importantly, it's a 20-yard run for the Ross Rams.
They're going to have enough for a first down there, plenty. It's probably going to end up being closer to about 15 when all's said and done. The lineman kept going farther down the field there. We're going to have 1:05 left. The clock is currently paused. Ross is at their own 44-yard line.
So that's a 15-yard run.
15-yard run, yep. Now the clock will wind. If Ross wants to play this shoe clock, they can get one more snap. And this is going to be a handoff to Severance. Severance cuts from right to left. Tries to tuck out. Actually, that's not Severance. That appears to be. I'm having a hard time seeing that number, Dan.
I know.
2-digit number.
Well, I got the tackle because it's easier to read Monroe.
It is.
Noah Montgomery on the tackle. From a distance right now, it looks like Penn State, who is Ross. They look like Penn State.
Monroe.
Yeah, Monroe,
You
sorry.
get the white helmets, the blue jerseys.
They look very much like
very
Penn State.
eye-popping white numbers. You can see who they are. Jay Warren goes in motion. Fake handoff, pitch to Warren. He's got room. Tries to bounce this outside. Wrapped up and pursued, but not before the Ross Rams get a first down. There is a flag thrown by the referee late on the backside of that play. The clock is going to pause at 6 seconds remaining.
Joel, if this is a high school spot foul, he obviously advanced the ball beyond the first down marker or the line to gain. So you're going to see maybe when you take the 10 yards hold back, you're going to see a net of 2-yard gain, 3-yard gain. He's walking it back.
Let's see what we have here as the referee. I've not seen him make a hand signal yet. Now he's coming down toward Monroe's sideline to the middle of the field.
It's holding.
And it is a hold on the Ross Rams. And it's still going to be second down. And it's going to be a net of nothing.
Okay.
They're right back at the 47-yard line.
I was doing the math. Okay.
The hold was 10 yards upfield, and the quarter is going to end before we can snap this next ball. We have reached the end of quarter number 3. A defensive struggle from the Hornets' nest. It's the Ross Rams 9, the Monroe Hornets 7.
Fourth quarter begins.
Fourth quarter begins. We're back in the fourth quarter. It is second down and 7 for the Ross Rams at their own 47-yard line. Handoff goes to, it looks like that would be Warren. Warren cutting through traffic there. It's going to get about 10 yards. Very good run for Warren. Off the left side, going off the right end of the line.
Earlier you spoke right before halftime, or maybe it was in the third quarter, I can't remember, about the conditioning of the Ross team and how, as the game last year wore on, Ross seems to have a little more pep in their step. I think you're seeing this right now in this quarter. I think you're seeing the Ross offensive line dominate the line of scrimmage. These 2-yard runs are becoming 7- and 8-yard runs now.
They're popping just a little bit longer,
Yes,
aren't
they
they,
are.
Dan? Those few extra yards make a big difference.
Oh.
Counter, fumble, ball on the ground. Beanbag on the ground. Bunch of bodies on the ground. Jay Warren did not get the handoff very clean from Caldwell.
Yes.
And
it is
referee
Monroe's
signal
ball.
A Monroe football.
That's the only way I thought there that Ross could have been stopped is by their own mistake.
Monroe comes off the field with the ball. That's a big turnover, but again, Ross's defense is going to have the opportunity to make up for their offense, get off the field. It's been one of those games. Monroe has done nothing offensively other than the one very impressive 99-yard drive.
So, Joel, what do you do here? Do you try and throw a pass in and maybe confuse them?
I think you have to do what you do best. I think
Okay.
the last time they got the ball, they're going to have 12 men in the huddle. Now it's going to be 1st and 15. That's not a good start for this drive for Monroe.
There was 12 in the huddle. You are
12 in
correct.
the huddle. Now, the last time Ross turned the ball over and gave Monroe an even shorter field than this, Monroe spent their first down play in man coverage trying to throw it over the top.
That's right.
Lower percentage play, good if you can hook up with it. Did not connect. That put them behind schedule the rest of the drive, and they were unable to convert a first down.
Very good.
1st and 15, though, that kind of changes your play calling just a little bit. Monroe has the ball at their own 36-yard line. Not bad field position, but not what they had, and not certainly what they had in the previous Ross turnover in the third quarter. We have flex bone formation here for Miles. Man goes in motion. The handoff to Elijah Jackson up the middle. Spins. He's going to pick up all the penalty yardage back. 5-yard gain. It's going to be 2nd down and 10. Great power run there.
It was. I mean, Baston with the tackle once again, but if he gets by Baston, still be running.
Fairfield Indians lead Middletown 29-7. End of the third quarter. Reading still leads Talawanda 7-0. Monroe would love to see the Brave come back and pull that win off and give them some second-level points. 2nd and 10 for Monroe. Handoff to the wide back on a sweep. That's Jean. E.J. Jean is going to come up with about 7 yards, and it's going to be a 3rd down and manageable for Monroe.
Nice play. They ran away from Baston on the opposite side. Baston pursued and made the tackle, though. But it's 3rd and 2. This is a huge play. Well,
you might
I
have
think
two
it's
shots
4
at
down.
this too.
Yeah, it's 4 down territory. 10 minutes to go in the quarter.
Dan, what do you think about a QB sneak here? Something to completely throw him off.
I
They're
love-
looking for Jackson.
I love a QB sneak.
You might not get all of it. You might get half of it. Here is the handoff. It's a counter trap handoff.
It didn't get but
It
maybe
didn't
a half
get
a yard.
much.
Yeah.
It really did not get much.
It's going to be about 4th down and a long 1.5 yards.
That runner there was E.J. Jean, and he did not fool the Ross defense. It is 4th and about 1.5.
Oh.
Beaver Creek Beavers lead Franklin 17-6. Larry Cox. Ooh,
Beaver Creek
down to
Beavers.
Beaver Creek.
They must come out to the tune of Duran Duran.
Beaver Creek Beavers. They're hungry like a beaver. 4th and 1.5.
Ross's fans screaming.
A lot of men in the box for the Rams. Toss sweep to Jean. He's got room. He's got a first down.
Nice.
Bulldozes over a Ross linebacker. And the Monroe Hornets have an emphatic first down on that play as we drip down below 9 minutes coming up in the fourth quarter.
Very nice play call there. It looked like they were just going to mano straight up the middle. Everybody was stacked in the middle, and they pitch it outside.
They went wide, and they found room. Alter Knights,
Yes.
they lead by a score of 42-0.
Over.
They didn't say who it was over. I can pull it up here real quickly.
It doesn't matter, I guess. It's a
Thurgood
victory.
Marshall. Yeah, that's not a quality opponent.
No. They might actually be playing Thurgood Marshall.
That's true. It might be just one person out there. Handoff up the middle. That is Landon Wynn. Wynn is going to punch forward for about 3 or 4 yards. It's going to be about that offensive line and how much push can you get if you're Monroe. It's going to really come down to that line. Ross's defense has been stout. Monroe, this is where they lost the game to Ross last year. This is where that little extra oomph and all those sled drills you do, the 5-man sled over the summer, really are important here with 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter of play.
2nd and 7 now, and Monroe has got down to the 38-yard line.
This is a quarterback keeper. Faked a wide handoff to Jean. Miles kept it, did not find a whole lot of room up the middle. It's going to get about 1.5 yards.
I think he should have pitched it there.
The pitch might have been his better option.
Yes.
His vertebrae kind of agree upon he should have pitched it there too. It got up a little bit sore.
Big 3rd and 5 coming up here. See what happens.
Fenwick has now gone up 45-0 over Madison. The Falcons pulling away. Baden Rams, 3rd quarter, late in the 3rd, lead Columbus St. Francis de Sales 13-0.
That's a tough
More
game.
defense there.
Baden has
Fairfield.
great D.
Gave up 3 points to Villa Angela St. Joseph last week. Bo Jackson and Amani Powell up there in Cleveland.
3rd and 5.
Sweep to Win. Win is bottled up.
Yeah.
Win is not going to have any room, and I can get that Ross number to call out. Blake Holmes, number 53, was the first one that met him, turned him inward, waited for his buddies to get there, and drug him down.
Beautiful defense. This is it, 4th and 5.
I almost wonder if you punt here, Dan.
I like the punt. I think it's a great idea.
It's 4th and 8. And a
And
late
here you
decision
go.
by Mullins. They're down to 7 minutes
They heard
left
you,
to go.
Joel. They heard you.
Well, if you can pin them deep, your defense yourselves have been playing very good football.
Fantastic.
We'll see how well McPherson plays coffin corner. Ross is not even going to put anybody back. They don't believe that Monroe is going to punt this ball at all.
They better get a guy back here.
Bobbled snap, pooch punt. It's going to bounce at the inside the 20. Oh, this is not a great punt. It's going to bounce just inside the 20, take a sideways
There is a
hop.
flag on the field.
It's going to put him at the 13 or the 19-yard line. Yuck. That's not at all what the Hornets wanted.
Illegal procedure.
And penalties on Monroe after all of that. Ross is probably going to decline that penalty.
I would definitely decline it. Or can you add 5 onto where the ball went out of bounds?
If you can add 5 to where it went out of bounds, you could probably do that. But otherwise, you're not looking to do anything of the sort. Take the ball, be very happy.
That was a 19-yard net on that punt. Not what they were looking for. Not what they were looking for at all.
Not pretty. And Ross going to bring their offense onto the field. Let's see here where they're going to end up spotting the ball.
And okay, so they are giving them. They're giving the 5 yards after the punt. So it's up to the 24.
So they're going to tack 5 yards on after the punt.
That's not in pro ball by any means.
So Ross is going to get the ball at their own 24-yard line. You punt the ball in that situation. You can't get them even inside the 20.
Gee, many Christmas.
Wow, that is total backfire of otherwise a pretty good decision by Coach Mullins. Now it's up to Monroe's defense and Ross's offensive line. Here's the handoff up the middle. To the up back, and there is absolutely nothing to be gained there. One play down from Monroe's defense. They've got to make 2 more stops here against that tough Ross offensive line.
Okay, I'm trying to get a number on that tackle. This looks like a new number we haven't called tonight. That was Kanar Looper, number 95.
Ross Ram is injured on the field right now. It's going to be 2nd down and 9. Here's a Baden stat for you, Dan. Talking about Baden's defense.
Yes.
In the first half, the Stallions of Columbus St. Francis de Sales had a total of 34 yards.
Gee.
Very difficult to get anything going against that vaunted Baden defense. Monroe, if you guys have an eye on that number 2 seed, if you could pull out this win over Ross tonight, Baden's defense would be able to play toe for toe with you guys in terms of, that game might be 3-0.
Well, Baden can throw the ball, too. That's the big difference.
They can.
Baden has more of a balanced offense.
Edgewood Cougars in a back-and-forth game with Clinton Massey at Kumler Field are now up 27-20 over the Falcons. Clinton Massey might be starting 0-2 this year if Edgewood is able to hold on to that win.
I don't think I can remember the last time Clinton Massey started out 0-2.
That's a team that does not go 0-2 very often, and they've got Columbus St. Francis de Sales in 2 weeks and Fenwick next week. It does not get any easier for Clinton Massey. Not at all. Trying to look for some other scores here if we find anything while this Ross Ram has been down on. He's cramping. That's got to be a cramp, Dan.
Yeah, they're stretching his leg.
That's a good sign, at least, that it's not anything more serious than that.
They hurt like heck, I'll tell you that.
Oak Hills leads Sycamore 20-13. Not only did Middletown get their first win last week, and they're 1-0 for Coach Don Simpson, Oak Hills also won last week over Turpin, and now they are leading Sycamore by a score of 20-13. Could Oak Hills, terrible Oak Hills, be going 2-0 through 2 weeks?
That would be great.
That'd be something else. Roger Bacon, who got pummeled by Taft in week 1. That's an opponent that Baden has on their schedule later on this year.
Oh, at their glorious field.
Oh, at the glorious field.
The concrete.
Bron Basevich Memorial Stadium.
There you go.
Who should have never gotten field turf. That thing should have been a mud pit forever. Spartans lead that game 21-6 at the end of 3 against the Aiken Falcons. A lot of Falcons playing tonight. Moeller leading Louisville Trinity, extending the lead to a score of 28-3. That's a 1-win Division I equivalent. It's not been officially classified by the OHSAA yet, but I'd assume it'd be a Division I equivalent down there, the Trinity Shamrocks. And so that would be a great out-of-state win for Moeller as they try to compete in Division I, Region 1. I think, or Region 4. They were the 1 seed last year in that region.
Looks like, can you read that number? Is that Kyle Becker, number 12? That's
trying to see who's limping off. He gets farther away. We don't have great eyesight here. End of the third quarter, Tippecanoe leading Sydney. The Red Devils up 24-13. Tippecanoe in Division III, Region 12. Sydney in Ross's region, Division II, Region 8. 2nd and 9 now after the injury. And so here comes a handoff up the middle.
Absolutely
Little dicey,
nothing.
and again McPherson back there. McPherson teaming up with Tyson Rupp. Tyson Rupp, we called you out for jump and false start earlier. Let's call you out for something good there. Stuff along with McPherson.
Very
Two
good.
fullback dives for Ross, netting them a total of 1 yard, and now the Ross Rams are dealing with 3rd and 9. It is possible to get too conservative. Field position
How about a screen pass here for Ross?
You like it?
I'm gonna try the screen pass.
It worked very well for them, didn't it?
Yes, it did. 3rd and 9. We have 5 minutes, 24 seconds to go. Ross wants to keep that clock going, keep the lead. Monroe obviously wants to stop and get the ball back. This is a huge play here. Oh, we have
no shin before the snap. Who are they going to call it on?
Oh, it's definitely going to be against Ross. Left tackle jumped.
Monroe is celebrating. They seem to think it's going to go their way. And yes, they are marching 5 yards farther back. 26 seconds left to go in the third quarter at Fairfield. Avery Garlock punches it in from 5 yards for the Stallions. And Baden has a 13-7 lead over Columbus St. Francis de Sales.
Wow.
The plot thickens. Franklin scores in the fourth quarter at 17-13 now. Beaver Creek only up by 4 against Larry Cox's Wildcats. Pitch out wide for Warren.
He lost
yards.
yards.
That's big number 15, Elijah Jackson, playing linebacker as well as running back for Monroe. He makes a defensive play. We are under 5 minutes left to go now. The Monroe defense has done their job. We'll see if the offense now can do their job. Ross is going to have to punt. 4.5 left to go and counting.
This is where Ross needs a big punt to keep that, keep the field position game going.
This is probably going to be the last possession of the game for Monroe. They're going to make good on this. And a rugby-style punt, we're going to have a hold back behind the play. This is going to help out Monroe in terms of field position. The ball rolls dead across midfield at Monroe's 41-yard line, down by Emory Severance. That was a weird rugby-style punt.
It was very rugby. There was a rush up the middle, and the punter just ran out to the right, and he punted. I say you make him kick it again.
That was going to be a blocked punt.
It was.
And then the hold happened, which prevented the blocked punt from happening. And if they can tack it on to the end of the punt, Monroe might take the ball across midfield and be happy to live with that. It'd be a 49-yard field. Pretty good odds, Dan.
Yeah.
The other option is making them re-kick from 10 yards farther back, or half the distance, I guess it would be, from the spot of the hold.
I guess high school's just so different. It looks like they're going to walk it off from where the punt stopped.
From where the punt was down?
Yes.
They got the wrong 49-yard line.
You're right.
This should be on the other side of the 50-yard line, shouldn't it? They've given Monroe a 51-yard field instead of a 49-yard field. And now the umpire catches his error and moves the ball 2 more yards to the other 49. Okay. Somebody else caught that.
Good eye.
Yes. So 1st and 10 Monroe, 4:04 remaining from their own Ross's 49-yard line.
Could we have a freshman kicker winning the game 10-9 for
Wouldn't
Monroe?
that be something?
It would be amazing.
Coach Kenyon Cummins wants to chat about this, get his defense all organized and ready. Ross will take their first timeout of quarter number 4 of the second half, I guess I should say. We'll see. This has been a heck of a ball game.
It's been a great game, especially if you're a defensive-minded guy that likes running, which is what I am.
Dan Campbell, right?
They're going to be biting some kneecaps
Biting some kneecaps out here. End of the third quarter, Wilmington's lead. Ross fans, if you're listening, you want Wilmington to win now for you every week. Their lead is dissipated. The Panthers of Miami Trace now have a 21-14 lead over the singular hurricane of Wilmington.
Speaking of Dan Campbell, I like Dan Campbell.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, Pete Rose used to say that coach would make me run through hell in a gasoline suit. Well, as my son Jacob said, Pete, there are no gasoline suits. I said, it's Pete Rose. Just
off to Jean.
Nice run.
Punches it outside the right side off tackle. He's going to get about 7 yards. Monroe's offensive line starting to get a little push here, Dan.
Well, they have to. It's now or never, as Elvis said. We're under 4 minutes to go, 3:47. This is it. Whoever scores will win this. I mean, it's not rocket science.
We're down below 3.5 left.
It might rely on the freshman kicker.
2nd down and 3. Handoff to Jackson, up the middle, punches it through.
First
across
down.
the 40-yard line, and Monroe will move the chains.
They're at the 35. The question we should ask the coach was, if you're going to rely on the freshman kicker, what is his range? But we did not think to ask that.
We did not ask him. He was lucky he knew his own kicker's name, to be quite honest.
That is true.
Adam Sandler, the lonesome kicker. We're going to see how lonesome the freshman soccer player.
What is his name again?
Bryce Reynolds.
Bryce Reynolds.
Bryce Reynolds, replacing the injured kicker that Coach Mullen simply knew as kicker. 1st and 10. Ball at the 36-yard line. Toss sweep to Jean. That has been more and more open as this half has moved along. Jean is going to pick another 7 yards, maybe 8 yards up off the toss sweep to the right. Ross is having trouble defending that, Dan.
Yes, they are. We're under 3 minutes to go. The ball is all the way down to the 28-yard line, so not 45-yard kick if that ended there. I don't want them to put that young freshman in that position. Let's get it inside the 20, then we'll talk. So they need about 8 yards to get to the 20.
2nd down and 2. Flex bone formation, look up the middle, man goes in motion. Miles, the quarterback, keeps it. Follows his fullback as a lead blocker. It's not an impressive run, but it will work. It will get him the 2 yards that he needs, and it'll be a first down for Monroe.
The clock stops with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go.
It's a temporary pause
to
reset the chains. Monroe is at the 25-yard line. 6:02 left to go. A 50-yard fumble recovery for Reading. The Reading Blue Devils lead Talawanda 20-0 in the fourth quarter, halfway through.
Okay, Joel, Mr. Clock Management, when does Ross start calling timeouts? That is the question.
Honestly, with a freshman kicker, you might just take your shot that he misses.
Okay, we'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see how close they get.
How close do they get, right?
Exactly.
Miles will throw it.
He's going to run.
He's going to kill the throw. He's going to run it around the left side. That was a pass play. Gutsy. Miles decided he didn't like it, didn't like what he saw, didn't want to throw it, and Coach Mullins will now take his first time out.
So it turned out to be a net yard, 2-yard run after the scramble.
Yeah, that's kind of gutsy when your team does not like to throw the ball to go ahead and call a true passing play like that.
They were trying to surprise him.
That was not a quarterback run.
It was very gutsy.
Not a quarterback draw.
It was very gutsy.
They had 4 receivers out in formation. They wanted to see if they would catch Ross off guard with somebody probably wide open. I'll bet you Mullins might have even told his quarterback, Miles, if somebody is wide open for a missed assignment, throw it. If not, and you have any doubt in your mind, tuck it and run. And that's what he did.
That's good coaching.
He
is what
tucked
that
it and
is.
run.
That's good coaching.
Lakota West, final score over Lakota East, 49-6 in favor of the Firebirds. Tom Bolden has it rolling there in Westchester.
Boy, how do you think Ross shoulda, woulda, coulda? I wish they would have made that extra point. 10-7 versus 9-7.
It would be a very different game.
It would be a hugely different game.
Although, again, to reiterate, it's a freshman kicker. This is his first start.
I know.
He's a soccer player.
What number was he?
He's number 8.
Okay, I want to see if I can find him on the sidelines.
2nd down and 9. Ball at the 24-yard line. Flex bone formation, only one wide receiver on the left side, the short side of the field. Ball's on the left hash mark for Ryan Miles. Man in motion. They look, keep it to Jackson instead. Miles went out there like he might have tried to pitch it, but he didn't have the ball. It went to Elijah Jackson. Jackson only punched up the middle for about 3 yards. We're down below a minute and a half left to go now.
I see the kicker. He's in the front row, right next to the official, 2 people down from the coach. Now, he's in the game.
He's in the game.
He is not shying away, worried.
3rd down and 6. We're down to a minute and 10 left to go on the clock. The clock is continuing to run. If Monroe gets this first down, they've got 2 timeouts left to work with for the new set of downs. If they don't, decision time for Mullins. A throw.
He's got him. He's got him.
Jackson. Jackson has got a first down. He's inside 1st and goal. Inside the 10. The clock will stop at 53 seconds.
Nice call there. I love it.
A pass play. They slipped Elijah Jackson. It was a fake block, and he just slipped out into the flat. A very easy, effortless toss for Ryan Miles. The clock will now run. 50 seconds. Clock
They are
moving.
down to the 5-yard line. What are they doing? Let's see. Are they gonna
Right hash mark. I don't know that Monroe knows that the clock is moving. The coaches do up here. Now they hurry up to the line. 38 seconds, 37 seconds of counting. 2 timeouts still left for Monroe. Man in motion. It's a wide sweep.
He's got it.
John.
He's got it.
He's
touchdown.
It is a Monroe touchdown.
Woo! What a game.
5-yard touchdown for the Monroe Hornets. The man with the ball at the end of the pile there was a lineman, David Kemp. Excuse me, that would be Tyler Friend coming up with the football at the end. It looks like the running back on the play was Jean, number 5, E.J. Jean.
Wow.
A 5-yard touchdown run.
With 26 seconds to go, Joel, in the game. 26 seconds.
Wow. And do we have an injury on the field? Looks like referees are having an equipment problem on the field.
He's got a cramp.
Monroe probably ought to go for 2 here.
It looks like that's what they're doing, Joel. Because being up by 5 is going to get you anything. Being up by 6
might give you missed extra point territory, which Ross knows about missed extra points from earlier today. They missed one earlier.
Yes, they do.
Referees are still huddling up here. Wow. 26 seconds left.
So what would you call the touchdown there? Just kind of a sweep to the left?
It was kind of the handoff. He went around, followed the pulling guard there to the left side.
Yep.
And punched it just enough. He kind of dove and broke the plane there. It's one of those things, I don't know that he thought he was going to score when he first got the ball necessarily. It looked like we might have gone out of the 2. He sped up, that hole opened up a little bit wider, and he just darted his body in there.
2-point conversion coming up.
It's going to be a handoff to Jackson, looking up the middle from 3 yards out. That's a long way. He is going to be short. 26 seconds left to go. The Monroe Hornets take a 13-0 lead.
And
13-9 lead. It's hard to tweet at the same time, Dan.
That's okay. Maybe Ross should have been calling timeouts on that last drive.
Well, it's hard to know.
It's hard to know.
That's that tweener area.
It almost was like Ross didn't want to throw it into the arms of their kicker. So you got to give Ross credit there. I'm not doubting the freshman kicker. I'm just saying, let's get the lead with a touchdown. Run that clock down. So let's paint the picture. It is 13-9 Monroe. 26 seconds to go. Monroe's fans are leaving. I love the bravado and the confidence.
Final score at Robinson Field, by the way, New Miami goes down 36-6 to Landmark Christian. Chris Vogt was there at that game. He's probably tuned in right now listening to us call the end of this one.
Okay. been a rough night for the internet here in
It has been rough, but we've been trying to make do with it as best as we can here. 26 seconds remain. Monroe is going to – they were so excited to kick off after that touchdown, they lined up in the wrong 40.
You're right.
They were very excited to kick that ball off. So the referees now have them facing the correct direction with Monroe kicking off toward the north, defending the south end zone. 26 seconds left.
And it's McPherson kicking.
McPherson's going to kick it. These kickoffs have not been long.
No.
Ross's deepest guys are at the 20-yard line.
It's a short squib.
Squib kick to the up man. It's going to be fielded at the 35-yard line and held up by Monroe. Yeah, fall down, please, Ross. Clock stops at 19 seconds remaining.
Another player's hurt. I'll tell you, they're just cramping up like crazy at this point. It's all about the cramps.
Danny, you wanted a Baden update here while
Yes.
we've got the cramp and the injury dealing with for the Ross player here. We have a touchdown pass from Alex Ritzy to Braden Moore for 35 yards. And the extra point by Nick Warner is good. So 20-7 now.
That's
the
how you
Baden
bounce
Rams.
back after giving up a touchdown.
Interesting that the Rams, you already did not go for two there, up 19-7 with 9 minutes and change left. You think DeSale's going to score 2 field goals and a touchdown in that amount of time? I don't know.
Maybe they did go for – oh, wait a minute. They kicked the extra point.
They kicked the extra point, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of an interesting call there for Nick Yordi.
So
all right.
The player limping off the field. Obviously another cramp. Number 9 for Monroe. That would be Levi Jackson. I'm sorry. That's Monroe. I called the wrong
looking at the wrong
team.
roster?
Yeah, wrong roster. That would be Ben Kugler
For the
of
Rams.
The Rams.
Yeah.
Here we go. The place is rumbling. 19 seconds to go, Joel.
1st and 10.
What
Ross
kind of-
ball at their own 37-yard line. Shotgun formation now. And a whistle blows.
Timeout.
Timeout taken by Coach Mullins of Monroe. That is Monroe's second timeout of the second half.
How about a hook and ladder? What do you think?
The hook and ladder is a very underutilized play. I don't know how many teams have it in their arsenal and how many practice it, but you're right, Dan. This is the ideal time to dust that thing off.
Well, I mean, think about this. Ross, never a passing team, so maybe a 7-yard out, and then they crowd the guy, and there's the hook right there.
Ross did not have a passing attempt in their Week 1 win against Wilmington. They won that game by 20 points.
They do have an 84-yard screen pass today.
The 83-yard screen pass right before halftime. By the way, we had said at halftime that we had not seen a score for Carlisle and Miami East. Carlisle is a team that is on Monroe's schedule. Carlisle wins over the Vikings tonight, 61-7.
Ooh, there you go.
Laying the wood down.
That's some second-level points later if they can
If they can win. If Monroe can win.
You can't get points
Western
if you don't
Brown up 28-26. They're still in the third quarter in that pass-happy game.
Look,
1st and 10. Go ahead.
Okay, interesting the way they're spreading them out.
It's going to be a pass play, obviously. Looking to throw very long. It's a Hail Mary.
He's got it!
Dropped.
He dropped. Oh, I thought he had it.
Emery Severance.
Oh, my goodness.
Alex Bemis was in coverage on the play. He tried to undercut it.
Joel, he catches that. Poor guy. Poor guy. That's a touchdown.
If he catches it, the only question is whether he keeps his balance or not.
He was looking. He was running before he had the ball. The classic cliche.
And I'm going to say something that's going to sound really weird.
Yeah.
Ross better thank their lucky stars that he dropped that ball, because there was a penalty in the backfield on the play. And so Ross is going to lose 5 yards of field position. The touchdown would not have counted had Severance been able to come up with the ball, and the only thing that would have happened was the last 9 seconds would have run off the clock as he was running toward the end zone.
Wow.
So, all that excitement.
So he meant to drop it.
Monroe's secondary has now fallen back a lot farther than they did on the previous play.
They're 40 yards back from the line of scrimmage.
It is 1st and 15. The ball is at the 32-yard line for the Ross Rams. There are 9 seconds left.
Now what are they doing?
And now they're moving the ball again back up to the line of scrimmage.
So it wasn't a 5-yard penalty.
I wonder if the foul happened, or no, Monroe declined the penalty.
Okay.
They must have declined it, or they must have picked up the flag.
9
Second and
seconds.
10.
9 seconds.
And here comes a man to throw. Long into a lot of traffic. Alex Bemis incomplete. A big hit on the quarterback, Riley Caldwell. And he's a little sore right now.
He says, I got one more play in him.
Coach, I got one play left in me. There's 2 seconds
He's
left.
a warrior. I'll tell you, you got to give Monroe is only rushing 3, and they're still getting pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, John Rasnick, and you had big old number 95, Connor Loper, 6'2", 212 senior, both in the backfield, causing consternation for Riley Caldwell on that play. Caldwell did everything he could to get as much as he could muster going against his body, flushed out to the left. It ran in the middle of about 5 Hornets there, falling harmlessly to the turf before Alex Bemis could come up with it.
I say, Ross, call a timeout here. Let your quarterback let his leg feel better.
Well, they're going to go ahead and put a different quarterback in. Commons does have a timeout if he wants it, and he is going to go ahead and take it.
He's got 2.
Yeah, he's got 2 timeouts. And I don't know that there's a rule in high school football saying that you can't use both of them. So he can stand there and draw up whatever he wants to in the field turf. It is a 13-9 Monroe lead. Ross is going to have 1 play with 2 seconds left to go.
Unless there's a defensive penalty.
Unless it's a defensive penalty.
Now,
There's 63
how
yards
about
away
a Stanford band play? What do you think?
Well, I mean, you got to do something. So right now, you're looking at either a Hail Mary of some sort.
Hook and ladder.
And hoping that either Caldwell, if he comes back in after the timeout, or whoever your backup quarterback is, could throw it 63 yards.
Or a pass interference on the play.
But that's only going to give you 15 yards. It's not going to be an NFL spot foul like it previously would be,
true.
You know, in the NFL. I think the hook and ladder, the Stanford band play, I think right now whatever they're doing, Commons is basically drawing up something that they probably never practiced in the huddle right now.
Exactly.
Probably sitting there on the field turf trying to scratch lines out there. Monroe has got 11 guys out there on defense right now. They're already ready defensively. They've got 3 men standing within 10 yards of the ball that are going to be the defensive line. They have 8 other guys and a scrum out there at least 20 yards away from the ball, going back to 30 yards away from the ball, as Ross comes out onto the field now for their final play of the game.
Well, Gerald Lorenzen of Kentucky.
The hefty lefty.
Yes, he had a 78-yard touchdown, but the ball was 15 yards short of the end zone, but it was.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Receivers. A quick pass.
Oh.
And caught on his knees. Kyle Becker has to go down to his knees to grab the ball.
Was a hook and ladder play.
It was going to be some sort of trick play, but the throw was too low in the first place. Once he catches it with his knee on the ground, the play is dead.
The primary receiver caught the ball while his knee was on the ground because the ball was slow, but there was a player circling behind him who he was going to lateral it to.
They were going to do something fancy-dancy. We never got to find out what it was because the whistle's going to blow as soon as that knee hits the ground. A huge win for the Monroe Hornets.
Certainly huge.
13-9. Bob Mullins' team is going to go 2-0 on the season.
So, which coach said he thinks Monroe and Baden are the top teams in that region, and that's where he's going to see that?
Yeah, well, Kenyon Commons, who is no longer in Division III, Region 12, they've been bumped up to Division II. He seemed to think that Monroe and Baden were going to be the 2 strongest teams in Region 12.
Gotcha.
And now, for Monroe, you get a win over a Division II opponent. It's a win over a team that already beat Wilmington last week, so 5.5 second-level points go to the Hornets.
Right.
Ross plays in the SWAC. And Harrison looks putrid this year. And Edgewood, they lost their first game. They're hanging with Clinton Massey, who doesn't look as strong as they've been in years past. Mount Healthy does not look fantastic. Northwest doesn't look fantastic. Ross may win a whole bunch of games this year, depleted roster or not, and every one of those wins is going to give Monroe another 6 or 5.5 second-level points.
I like this Ross team tonight. I mean, I think when all's said and done, Ross outplayed Monroe here, but Monroe, they scored when they had to.
Monroe got that touchdown in there at the end. They scored when they needed it.
Yes, and Ross did not capitalize on their lead. They just kind of, stayed close. It was right there for them.
It becomes very challenging to know when you're leading.
Yes.
Late in the game, when your defense has been the reason why you've been leading all game long, it's hard to fault you for trying to play a little bit conservative and trusting your defense to hold on.
That's right.
But Monroe made a couple of critical plays. The pass to Elijah Jackson at the critical moment in time to get them to the 5-yard line was really a big, huge difference in the game. 5-yard run by E.J. Jean to get it into the end zone. The Monroe Hornets are going to walk away with a 13-9 win, and everybody's going to need to hit the ice baths after this game because that was a tough game.
It was, and a lot of cramping, a lot of heat out there on the field, a lot of players losing liquids. It's a draining game. It's a nice game, though, 13-9. I love it.
How about it? So, Monroe, congratulations to you.
Yes.
Big win. Enjoy the Harbin points that are going to come along with this thing as Ross wins games for you later on this year. Ross Rams, valiant.
Don't hang your heads at all.
Hard-fought, resilient group of guys, as Kenyon Cummins said before the game, and they will bounce back from this.
I'm telling you, we're looking at 2 playoff games for sure, especially when you have 16 in
Well,
region.
Ross is going to have a tough and feisty Valley View squad next week.
Yeah.
So time to regroup for the Ross Rams. It's not going to get a whole lot easier as you go back to Robinson Field, deal with a little bit of Division V football royalty. Valley View was down 17-7 to Milton Union last we checked in the second quarter. We haven't seen a score since. But Valley View already 1-0. And Monroe next week, they were 13-9 today. I'll bet you the final score of next week's game is not quite so low scoring. They are going to Mount Oreb to play the Broncos of Western Brown. That game last year was the 66-58 Monroe win. Western Brown last year made it all the way in Division III Region 11. They were in the Columbus region last year. Made it all the way to the regional final where they lost to Granville. And they have been flexed over to our region this year, Region 12. So that's a team that Monroe not only will play next week, but could potentially see in a playoff matchup. It's a team that Baden could see in a playoff matchup. And Western Brown does not play games that are 13-9.
And what's their nickname?
The Broncos.
The Broncos.
The Broncos play games that are in the 50s. They averaged.
Not the 1950s.
They averaged 50 points a game last season on the dot.
So I'm going to guess spread and passing.
It's going to be a lot of throwing, and that game's going to take a lot longer. In Monroe, you better get ready to run the football prevalently and build up your offensive numbers because that game next week is going to be nothing like what this game was tonight. So, for Dan Vogt, Chris Vogt, anybody else whose last name is Vogt, remember to vote in November. This is Joel Sackenheim for the Butler County High School Sports Report signing off.
Thank you.